All right. So, where we left off, after a disastrous explosion in a narrow path in the mountains, you camped in the treehouse. In the middle of the night, the white frost that feeds the dragon that's nearby screamed overhead that woke everybody up. Moments later, the eastern sky of the dome was illuminated by this constant, by these blasts of this kind of chilly blue glow, sending Shoke into a panic. The remaining Antaros tribe were headed east to Meadow Lake, which is the town that Norak was familiar with. The party scrambled through the ice and the snow as fast as you could, up to the road, and then downslope towards the town. On arriving, you saw that half of it had been encased in ice, with people frozen and solid in these kind of panic fleeing, poses. Norak spotted the country doctor's office that he'd been dreaming of for years, and then inside he found a boy of about 10 with very familiar eyes. It's probably closer to 6 a.m. I put 7 a.m. in the chat here, but it's
real
closer
quick,
to 6. It's still pre sunrise. What's that?
Do you guys remember an old commercial where it was like, "But my special eyes, I have special eyes." That's what I think of when you're like,
yeah,
but
wasn't
contact
it,
lenses?
Oh, okay, it was contacts. Okay, I couldn't remember what it was, but yeah, I do remember that. But it was like a mocking commercial. It wasn't.
Yeah, they have them for my eyes.
Yeah, like it was intended to be.
That's what I was thinking of when
Yeah.
Norak looked at this kid. That's all I can think of.
All right, so I didn't I didn't preload it, so I'll give this a second for everybody to get loaded over here.
How are we doing getting this?
How
are we doing getting this person thawed out of the snow?
Sokka just posted it in there. Yeah, that's it. That commercial. All right. For Pogo, Nazim, and Sarah. Nazim was actually kind of looking around, so I guess probably just Pogo and Sarah. Give me perception checks.
Just out in the middle of the fucking road.
Perception. I think I was following Norak. I think Arteme was.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes, Arteme.
Me and
Arteme. Yeah, Arteme and Pogo
were trying to
Sarah.
defrost somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking out for Yogg-sized popsicles as I'm going.
Right. All right. Both Pogo and Arteme, as you're kind of trying to melt away enough of this frost layer surrounding this human, it's just a kind of icicle. You can't really tell, male or female, like age, anything of that sort. It's basically just frozen over. You can't see the features beneath the ice. But as you're trying to thaw this away, you see Shoke kind of keep absentmindedly, because he's kind of just standing there with this ice crystal kind of leaning against him a little bit, in the direction that if it were to thaw, it won't fall over. As you've seen the ankles snapped of some people, where there's just icicles sticking out with these kind of sharp-edged bits of broken bone. But he keeps kind of lifting a hand up to his throat and pushing at it like it's painful. It looks like a pain reaction, but he keeps doing it and then opening his mouth like he's trying to speak and nothing's coming out. You keep continuing to try to thaw away what you can.
Does this?
It will.
This will help.
Fox, how can I build? I think I can just manually update those two stats for you for those two skills. I think I can. Let me check real quick, Fox.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you can just do it from the sheet. I'm gonna also go ahead and hand him a my little book and pen or pencil if he needs to write something down if he's trying to talk.
With what you're doing, I don't know that would really be feasible necessarily. He wouldn't be able to anyways from the angle that he's trying. But keep that in mind. It doesn't seem like he's able to talk at the moment. At least the run must have done further damage to his torn vocal cords at this point, where his head is kind of no longer attached anymore. I'm going to put it in my notes here to update that, Fox. I just tried to update it on your sheet and it won't let me directly. Okay. But there's a module I can install that will let me do it later. So update perception and investigation, right?
Yes.
All right. In the meantime, just remember that anytime you need to roll those, just add 5. If you type it in the chat, if you click the D20, you'll see that it'll roll or put 1 D20 there. But actually, that wouldn't include your modifier, so it's fine. We'll just do it manually for right now. I'll have it fixed before next week. In the thawing process, though, you're not able to tell if the skin beneath it is alive still.
Can
until
I'll
you
try
can get
nature
enough
check
of
to
it
see,
off.
or medicine check to see.
Yeah, I was going to say medicine check, Fox, specifically because you're proficient in it.
I'm half proficient in it. I still have to find a teacher to get completely proficient.
Sure. There we go. All right. It's not looking good at this point, but you may be, once you get more of the ice cleared off, you might be able to reassess and get a better idea. But at least right now, you're not seeing blood pumping through what little activity you can see in the veins there. That said, you do know that it's been 8 or 9 hours since the kind of blasts went off when you were in the dome, that they've been frozen in this shape for presumably that long. And even if they were alive at that point, they may no longer be. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
Okay. Sarah, did you roll one too?
No.
Okay, go ahead and roll one. Yeah, go ahead and roll a perception check too. Sako, and looking around, trying to assess the kind of yeah, not great there. The capabilities of the creature that caused that caused this thing, Sako. Nazim, in the I guess the intensity of the glow that you saw, with it constantly going off over and over again, and listening to the shape of the kind of sound of the beats of wings and how big those must have been, certainly very dangerous. And if it were to find you guys here, you'd all be fucked. You basically have next to zero chance if you were to try to, or if you were in any kind of a head-on altercation with this thing. So that was what you were originally assessing last week. So were you still continuing to do so?
Yeah, I was just kind of figuring out what we were up against. So with that knowledge, I'll just share that with the party and let them know that we should hastily move.
You do know, well, okay, so I'll put it to you this way. You heard it, you were awoken by it and then heard it flying backwards afterwards, but you did hear it both times that you guys have been in some, decent enough proximity with it. The person that was awake at the very least heard it, or all people that were awake heard it from quite some distance away. It didn't sneak at all. And you did hear it flying back west again, so you presumably would know if it was approaching. And, you may have, not a lot of time necessarily, but you may have some time to kind of deal with that information as you so choose. But the devastation of a town of this size by a single creature like that, unless you guys were able to, prepare for it in one way or another, or kind of lure it into a trap of some kind, something like that, you really would have no chance. If you were just in an open area like this, it destroyed the entire town essentially by freezing it all. You're not seeing anyone moving. There's no motion around. There's nobody hiding, anything like that, except for where Norok's at the moment. But apart from that, you're not seeing any life left. Everything's been destroyed. So, in the assessment of that, it's unlikely that you guys would have much, opportunity against such a creature.
Such a waste of leather.
I mean, you could melt it down.
Dry it out.
I don't know if the party's going to be okay with you skinning live human, or dead humans, I guess. But for their skin, it's one thing with creatures and even humanoid creatures. But anyway,
it's one thing if they try to kill us, but they're just innocent bystanders.
Well, even then, to me, it's still a little bit gross to be skinning humans just because they attacked you. But I have something. I have something really cool to show you guys that I forgot to mention in the primer. It may break things, and odds are good I'll end up having to disable it, but it looks fucking cool, at least for now. So as soon as the opportunity arises, I'll show it to you guys. I just saw the button for it, and it reminded me. But Sarah, in looking around, you don't see any Yogg-shaped statues at all. All the statues are human or smaller. There's one visible that is significantly shorter, but because it is just a boulder of ice, it's impossible to tell if this is a child or maybe a dwarf or a halfling or something of that sort. You do know halflings don't typically travel that much, so it's probably not halfling, but still, it could be a dwarf. You don't know.
Did the attack happen at night? Didn't it happen at night?
It was at like 11 p.m. midnight. And you guys basically ran the whole way to get here. So actually, shit. It would have happened closer to 10 p.m., let's say.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's about 6 a.m. now, and you guys ran, 6 to 7 p.m. right now. Or a.m. rather. Ran as fast as you could to get here. The exhaustion levels, I meant to mention this earlier. Because everybody ran and did not get a long rest, current exhaustion levels, and these are devastating. So keep in mind, you guys trying to do anything right now, you should have been rolling with huge significant penalties on those checks I just had you make. Norok is at 4 because running through the night, and he had some bad rolls there. Sarah's at 3, Artemay 2, Pogo 3, Nazim 3, and Shok is at 3. Because you had the failed checks from the cold while you were running, and then you also didn't get your rest, and therefore got one more level of exhaustion for not resting.
I have gotten my rest because I was taking the last one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's why you had 3. Or sorry, that's why you had 2.
Okay.
Fox.
That's why I had 2, not 3.
Yeah, you would have had You would have had 3,
Gotcha.
but yours was 2
Just
because
checking.
you did get your rest. Yeah. Yeah. The elves only need 4 hours of sleep, so she technically had long enough to get her rest in. So. Anyway, so that's where we left off with everybody there. Just keep that in mind that those penalties are like for Ben. Shit, it might be a 3. Hang on. One of the levels, it's either 3 or 4. You actually have half of your max hit points until you rest. So let me look here real quick. 3 is speed halved and restricted actions, meaning you can only do an action or a bonus action, but not both, and no reactions. For 4, so this is Ben. Your HP max is in half until you rest and get some of your exhaustion levels removed. So keep that in mind. Everybody's speed is halved, your restricted actions, and Ben, your HP max. I'm not going to change it on your sheet, Ben, unless you guys get into a fight or something first. But just keep that in mind for now.
And we still roll minus a D4 on stuff, right?
It's actually a D8, I think. Hang on.
D8.
It goes up with each level. It is a D8 for everybody. Sorry, Fox, you don't have the restrict actions, Fox. You only have 2 levels, so for you it's a D6. For this is why I need to have the thing built back in there again. So I'll add that back for you guys so that the exhaustion levels will automatically do it for you. Oh shit! What did I just paste in there? Okay, good. That's just the date. I was trying to paste the thing, and I was afraid I'd pasted some of my notes in there, stuff that you shouldn't see yet. If you scroll up, you can see the exhaustion level things that are in there, though. But it is for level 3, so everybody with 3, you have restricted actions and minus a D8. For Ben, who's the only one at level 4, it is a D10. And restricted actions and speed in half, and HP max is half. And by the way, keep in mind, level 5 is the last one that you can still survive. After that, if you guys get to level 6, you're just dead. You just die.
How'd you die in your D&D game? We just didn't sleep, man. What a
Too much
fucking
shit to do.
bender.
It's a long coke bender instead. So
Yeah.
What happened to the track? Where'd it go?
Oh, okay. I just thought it was just my computer that lost audio.
Nope.
Or lost the music. So real quick, I know you said earlier that the rest of the Yog were heading east to town. Is this the town they were heading east to, or were they leaving this town going to another town east further?
I'll go ahead and tell you.
I was just confused.
Based on like if Pogo kind of asks that question, aloud enough that Shok understands the question, he does nod and he looks around and nods. This is the town they were headed to.
Ah, farts.
Yeah.
And I gave him my little paper and stuff to write down what he was trying to say, or if he was trying to say anything.
There's a certain kind of sorrowful look, and he kind of nods. It's a clear thank you of acknowledging thank you. All right. With that though, everybody else kind of for what you're doing at the moment. Ben, you are still in the kind of operating room in there with a boy that you clearly know the provenance of, is how I'll put that. It doesn't seem that he does. He doesn't have any look of recognition on his face or anything of that sort. But he kind of, he's still standing there shivering, like violently shivering. And he just looking up at you. Who are you? You're not with the thing, are you?
No,
what?
We're not. We came here looking for friends, and we don't see anybody alive besides you. Are you okay?
I'm not okay, but I mean, I'm alive. Is nobody else?
I don't know about that, son. I'm not sure.
He is kind of looking around, and he kind of just pushes past you. He kind of walks towards you and like shoves you. I'll say with a significant amount of strength, considering his size. You wouldn't necessarily expect that. He has very human features, by the way. He doesn't look a lot of Yog. You don't see a lot of your blood necessarily, although he does look very pale. Like his skin is not, regular human skin tone. It's maybe a halfway point. But apart from that, he looks mostly human. He doesn't look particularly Yog. But he kind of pushes. What's that?
So he's about the same size as a human child of that age?
No, he's much bigger. Yeah, he's much bigger than a 10-year-old boy, a 10-year-old human boy would be. But so basically, he does. When I say the Yogg features, I mean that his eyes like are normal, separated normal distance. He doesn't have the kind of prominent brow line that the kind of Neanderthal-looking skull shape that the Yogg typically do. He may grow into those features. You don't know, but at least for now, he looks mostly human, at least enough to probably pass. Although very like unnaturally pale, like skin tone isn't quite right. But apart from that, he just looks much bigger than he should. He looks like the size of a 10-year-old Yogg boy.
All right, I'm going to say, wait up, where you going? I'm going to come with you.
He just kind of shoves past you. He says, well, then come on, I got to see if they're okay.
All right, well, you need to be careful, too. The danger might still be out there.
Okay. As soon as he's past you and through the doorway, okay, you haven't been in this situation where in the last 10 years you've walked out of this room. The only time, in fact, actually, really, even the only time you ever went into this room, you jumped out through the window chasing after the doctor. So you've literally never turned around and gone back this direction. The reason that I say that is because as you're stepping over him, as he's starting to walk past, and then he kind of stops in the doorway, and you stop behind him, you're looking behind the counter. So this counter that you've seen Sorsha standing behind the entire, every time you've had the dream in here, behind the counter there is a frozen female body. He stops there and he kind of looks at towards the body for a second, and then you see him kind of shiver a little bit, and he kind of brings his hands up and kind of folds his arms, and he starts walking out the front door.
Do you know who that is?
He stops when you say that and kind of turns his head over his shoulder a little bit. He doesn't actually look at you, just kind of turns toward you a little bit. It's the woman that couldn't speak. She was trying to help me. And he continues on out the door. Sarah, you standing outside, you see the door open again. Norok hadn't really closed it all the way, but you see it kind of swing open. And stepping down the steps at the front is this I almost said halfling, half-sized Yogg. It's still taller than you. He's a good head taller than you. But so I mean, literally like where his chin at would be at the top of your head, so about a head taller than you. As he steps out and he kind of looks in your direction. Where are you? Where is everybody? Do you know where they are?
We just got here. Was there a big guy in there with you? Like super big, kind of like you?
He kind of looks back over his shoulder and nods, and he starts walking past you.
Well, wait, hey, where are you going?
He unslings a bow that he had over his shoulder. He unslings it and pulls it down. I've got to help him. I've got to do something.
Okay, you can't fight a dragon. People are frozen. Stick with us. We will go with you to see. Who are you going to find?
Give me a perception check, just Sarah.
Oh,
Arteme, Pogo, and Nazim, you guys are down the street, probably about 60, 70 feet. There's still wind blowing, but you can hear this enough to look over and see this what looks like a very tall human boy talking to Sarah, but that's about it. Like, you could probably just barely make out what they're saying. With that perception check, you don't notice anything. You see him set his jaw, and he looks angry. Like, he looks very, very mad. And he's kind of, you can see his fists, or his
Are we making
hands.
any progress on trying to see if defrosting one of these people even helps?
It's going to take, so it's been, at this point, it's been like 5 minutes, and you maybe have a space melted that is, at best, probably like 4 inches in diameter. It's going to take a while with Produce Flame. Produce Flame is like candlelight. It's like a very small torch. It's going to take you a while with that amount of fire to melt off an entire human body.
I'm going to go ahead and start making a fire best I can. I actually do have a tinder box. I do have a tinder box here now, so
okay.
I will use my tinder box.
Okay.
To try to make a fire.
Yeah, you have a pound of tinder that you can then set on top of the snow, but keep in mind that surrounding you for a decent radius right now, everything, including the wood, is frozen. So if you use this, keep that in mind.
Fucking A.
So I'm just telling you that Pogo would recognize that. And
would I just look around and realize I wouldn't be able to
make a fire? What I could do is I could use Produce Flame to light up the tinder, and then just go back to trying to defrost after.
You can. What I'm saying is that the tinder itself, the fuel source, is what you guys will have a very limited supply at the moment.
You know, before I do that, I'm gonna go and see if I can, because I think I was just trying to make sure that like this person didn't like fall over or something like that. Can't remember even what I was exactly doing to help Arteme. So I'm gonna go see if there's anyone who's less frozen inside the surrounding buildings.
Okay.
Best I can.
Okay.
Because I feel like this might be a lost cause. This dude's just standing on the fucking street.
It's certainly going to take a while, and
Sure.
based on Arteme's assessment so
I'm
far,
also going to be trying to look
great.
for a something of a bed that's not completely ruined.
Sure. All right. All right. As Pogo starts to, look around and probably loot the nearby buildings.
Not loot. Looking for a bed.
You say that now. But we both know Pogo's going to be shoving things in pockets.
If I see anything shiny, I think I'm too tired to give a shit about shiny things right now.
Let Sarah know if you find a magic shop. She needs some shit.
Oh yes, a magic shop would be great because I need to look for like spells and spells.
Jesus, you guys are such assholes. This town was just like obliterated. You're like, let's see what we can steal.
Hey, I would leave some gold behind.
Yeah, for the next person that comes through tries to steal shit.
Well, it's not like if we can't defrost them, they're all dead. They don't need it anymore. What are we supposed to do?
Hey, look, Jeremy says that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. I see zero problem with honestly, I don't even really care if they're like completely, even if they're just mostly dead, it's probably fine to take their shit. But but this town, like, at least have, some memorial or something first. I don't know. As a DM.
Unless we could defrost them, there's no way we could bury them. So I don't.
You might just have to wait till spring. In springtime, just imagine how this town will smell.
Oh God.
Put some newspapers on it. Walk away.
So it's either for Pogo kind of searching the area, Arteme continuing to try to thaw. That's going to take a little bit. The boy though, Sarah, Norak, you've come out through the doorway, so you kind of have to duck way down to fit through the door, and then stand back up again once you get to the other side, of course, and then make your way down the steps. But back out in this kind of frozen street with the wind blowing by. Give me, Ben, a perception check with advantage. I guess you already have advantage.
D8.
Yeah, it'll still be a minus a D10. Yeah, D10 for his exhaustion. But this is why having the stuff built in makes it so much more convenient, of course, because then you can just roll advantage or disadvantage and the modifiers automatically apply. But
yeah, I forgot to roll the minus D8, but not that it mattered.
with a 2, minus a D10, G.
10? Okay.
Yep. For exhaustion. Hey, all right. Well, that's literally only needed to be to 12, but the physiology, mannerisms, I guess is what I'll say. The mannerisms of this boy are distinct enough that you can recognize the kind of the set of the jaw and the kind of white knuckles of him kind of holding the bow and like half drawing the bow, even though there's nothing around to shoot. It's feudal anger, which is something that Norak particularly, of course, is very familiar with. That feeling, having a no place to target it, but being just permanently enraged. If anything, that would certainly have a familial trait, let's say, there. But he, in response to Sarah, he's a little bit short. I don't care about fences right now. Remind me later. He's a little bit short in his response to her, and he's angry and looks like, maybe a little bit tearful, like just like impotent fury is what I'd call it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really give her much of an answer, and he turns and starts marching towards like something down the street. You don't know where.
Great. Well, I'm on the broom, so I'm gonna keep up with him.
I'm gonna go too.
Okay. You both then
found a bed yet?
the first. So most of the, well, we'll say the majority of the buildings here are like frozen so much that you can't get doors and windows open. There are some that are not so, not completely damaged. They basically didn't take a direct blast of the ice breath, but got hit by the collateral, let's say, of it. So there are some, but the majority of them certainly the vicinity of the frozen statues are like completely solid, frozen solid. So you have to kind of walk down the street a little ways to get to the first building. You can see where the windows are covered in frost and half broken in. The door looks like there's snow built up behind it. But you come up to the door and you have to grab the doorknob and it's freezing to the touch. So you kind of double up, use your cloak to kind of cover your glove and then twist it, and you hear ice cracking as you're spinning the doorknob because clearly there's ice frozen inside of it. And you yank on it as best you can, and it takes you some pull to finally get the door to open. And you kind of shove it open, and sure enough, there's a window that's broken inside, and it's there's a foot of snow on the ground inside the place, but it's a small, like probably 2-room. There's a little corner that goes around that you expect is probably another room of some sort, and there is a bed in the corner, but there is a good foot of fresh snow on the bed.
All right. Is there?
That was Pogo.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that...
Pogo was looking for a bed, and he happened to find one, but it's covered in snow. Justin?
All right. I'm still just. Do I find any other people then? Any other less frozen people?
The first place that again, it took you a couple of minutes to find this place, and you don't see any bodies inside.
All right.
Nobody moving, at least.
I'll make a mental note, and I'm still just. I think I'm still not sure what options we have here. So, all right, I'll make a note of that, and then I'll go ahead and go meet back up with Artemae and see how she's doing.
Okay.
Have we assessed
I'll
why
go.
the dragon hit here?
What?
Have we assessed why the dragon specifically hit this?
Trying to find anyone who might know, but I don't think I'd be paying much attention to. I probably wouldn't have seen really the kid and them doing their thing if he's running around. I'm leaving that kid. I'm leaving that kid up to Norok and.
Yeah, they are going the other direction
Sarah.
too. They're going down the road the other direction, like further away from the rest of the group. Sarah and Nazim, if you're going to be, if that's your goal, go ahead and give me an investigation check for that. Again, minus whatever your exhaustion is. What's that, Sarah?
Do I notice that he's Yogg and not a human kid?
Give me either medicine or nature. You can choose.
Oh, man. Oh, well, it's definitely going to be nature.
Okay.
Because medicine sucks.
He definitely, there's a mixed blood of some sort in there. Yeah, you're pretty sure that based on geography, this is the proximity of Yogg nearby, that their homelands and everything, that would make sense that he definitely doesn't look full human, and with the mix, you expect it probably would be Yogg based on his his stature and so on. In the oh shit, Becky, that would have been minus your D8. So
No.
let's see if it would bring you below.
Damn it.
Nazim for a 15. That's not bad. We'll come back to that in just a second here.
Ugh.
All right. Well, it's still a 15. That's still 15. All right. Sarah and Norok following him. Like his shoulders are beginning to tighten, and he's still pulling on this bow, and he looks very irritated. And he kind of stops for a moment and very, very childlike, kind of stomps his way around, looking at you. Why are you following me?
Because you're the only person alive in this town, and we're trying to figure out what happened. By the way, he's part of your people, right? Like, he was coming this way. Like, he's even going to bury your shaman that died.
So when you...
She's just kind of rambling because she has no idea how to deal with children.
Well, when you so before you even get all the way through that statement there, when you say that you're the only person alive, you see his eyes go wide and his jaw drops, and it begins to tremble a little bit.
That we found so far. I mean, there could be others. You were hiding in a building. You never know.
Good job. Good job with that one.
Sarah doesn't know how to handle kids.
Instead, what happened, huh? I mean, not your parents. Your parents are probably fine.
You see that expression of clearly it's he had to have expected that, it seems like, but he doesn't want to admit it. And he is there for half a second, not very long, maybe a full second, and he snaps his jaw shut and just is angry again and spins in place and starts stomping back off again. I don't need your help. Leave me alone.
Sorry, but I can't do that. I'm just going to keep following.
Norok?
Yep, I'm going to. I'm going on a wild goose chase.
He then, as you guys continue to stomp after him, hearing the ice and snow crunching underfoot, he stops again and he starts to lift the bow up towards Norok, like center body mass.
I
I know how to
shoot.
shoot. I know how to shoot. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I know you know how to shoot, buddy, but that doesn't solve all your problems. Believe me, I've been trying it my entire life. Why don't you come with us? Might be some of the only. I might be the only of your people left, man. I mean, you realize that you're not all human, right?
The perception check
Your
with
parents
advantage.
are dead. Your parents are dead. You're adopted.
And you're a halfling.
You're a mixed breed. You know that, right?
You're an Oreo.
Perception check.
Werewolf.
Perception check. Norok with advantage minus your D10. Sarah with a flat roll minus your D8. All right. Well, that'll do. You could ignore your minus D10. Natural 20 will be fine.
Okay.
Sarah.
So 7.
No, he's just a real big kid. That's all Sarah knows.
Yep.
Norok, the expression on his face tells you for sure he does not know that.
I'll be right back.
Wow.
He looks confused and very angry. Like, it may be just that things are not like getting through to him at the moment. Like, it might just be that he's too mad to really kind of pace through what it is you're telling him. But it's clear that he does not know that he's not human. But he stops. He says, he kind of starts to lower the bow and releases some of the draw. I have to see if they're okay. They would see if I was okay. I have to at least see if they're okay.
Then let's go see if they're okay. I'll help you. But you need to accept our help.
His mouth claps shut again. He doesn't look as distrustful and angry, and he turns around and starts kind of walking off again, basically a little less angry than he had been previously. And he stops, 5 feet ahead. He stops and kind of turns back, looking in your direction. He says, "Then come on. I can't wait for you. It's cold."
I'll follow him.
I think she doesn't want to bring a shit ton of people
All right. And continuing after him, he's walking down a street and then turns around a corner to keep going down another street. We'll jump back over to Arteme and Nazim and Pogo. Pogo is still kind of searching houses, I guess. So Arteme and Nazim. Arteme,
I'm just trying to find anyone that looks less dead or less frozen. So that
Okay.
ultimately I want to find
Not dead.
someone who knows. Yeah, I'm not dead. I just want to find someone who might be able to say what's going on.
Sure.
And I feel like I'm starting to lose hope in us defrosting this person out in the street. Is what I'm feeling like. And I'm very tired, and I want to find someone who might know the area, might know somewhere that would be safe for us to go, things like that. A respite, if you will.
Okay. Nazim, for the investigation check that you made a little bit ago, you don't see anything in the street where you're standing, but you kind of floating away from the rest of the group a little bit down another intersection and looking down the street, you see the distinct claw marks in that have torn through the what had been a dirt road. And it was basically wagon tracks that move along the road. Clearly, this is the wagons would been passing through this town pretty regularly. But in the middle of where these wagon tracks would roll are like deep gouges that must have been a large dragon-like claws, let's say, that tore through the ground. And you see these in a few different places, and there are splashes of crimson across rooftops and other places near where those claw type of slashes are. With the with your check, Nazim, for trying to kind of figure out the not necessarily motive, that'd be hard to place. You don't know necessarily what it would be thinking as much, but as all creatures, it does need to eat, and what you're seeing here does line up with the evidence necessary to say that it came down here to eat, and it did so and then flew off.
Gotcha. Pretty much just assessing to see if this thing nuked this town from orbit just because it was angry, because it was looking for something or whatever. But
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be
that
the
would be the-
motive portion. Yeah, that would be very difficult for you to be able to. Certainly not with the roll that you made, you wouldn't be able to tell this much. But as far as what you do see, it does line up with that. At least it ate while it was here. Whether what its reason for coming here to do that was, you don't necessarily know if it had one.
We can
Beyond
assume
just
then it's
being
relatively
hungry.
safe for now, since there's nothing left. Maybe we can hunker down on one of these things to get rid of this exhaustion.
All right, so back over to Arteme. You're making progress. It is slow. By now, you've gotten far enough down one arm to where you can get to the wrist. With the intent being that if you can clear the wrist enough to very carefully try to feel for a pulse to see if there's anything left inside.
Okay.
And once you've kind of cleared enough that you have basically, like, again, this was just a pretty solid block. It's it has arms and a kind of humanoid shape, hence where where some of them had snapped off at the ankle. But the kind of gauging where the wrist was difficult. So when you first started, you realized that you were a few inches up from the wrist, and you've basically made it down to the wrist at this point. And feeling for a pulse, you don't feel one there.
Okay. So I guess it'd be kind of useless to finish defrosting it.
With the medicine
no
checks
pulse.
you've made, with the medicine checks you've made, you feel like, I mean, this is probably a female. That's probably a woman. And if you were to finish defrosting, she would likely still be dead.
Okay.
You don't feel like she's been dead for too long for just healing to take care of the problem. It would need she would need to be brought back from Crow's Thicket, which would be a process similar to how Pogo was returned.
Okay, so that
Which
would
is, of
work.
course, it's
Gotcha.
possible. It's just expensive, and
Yeah.
then even then, it's a town full of them. So
And trying to do that with a full town would not work out too well.
yeah,
Okay.
you'd probably really end up pissing off Old Crow anyways, and then you'd have bigger problems if you tried to resurrect an entire dead town. So
Okay, so I'm just gonna move on and see if I can find anybody that's kind of still alive to defrost them to where they're not actually dead, but they'll probably be mostly in the same state. So I'll go look in houses.
okay.
And
Also, if I see her not there anymore, I'm going to then go and I'm going to stop and I'm going to go find Nazim.
That's interesting, actually. So we'll get back to that in a second, Pogo, for a very specific reason here. Arteme, you seeing that Pogo kind of went one direction, you kind of turn and go another way, not just to get away from him, certainly that too, but because, he's already checked those houses nearby, presumably. So, you're checking kind of other ones that he hasn't already looked at. So we'll come back to that in a second. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. Fox.
Maybe we should resurrect a whole town. Then, we'll get a visit from Ketis.
Ben's character from the first campaign balance is a Grim Reaper type character now for the next 500 years.
Ooh.
nice.
All right. Well, minus your D6, Fox.
Right, so that'd be 6.
Yeah. Level 2 is
Plus
6.
5, though.
Oh yeah, sorry. Plus 5 and then minus a D6, so 18 minus a D6. This is where all the fucking automation stuff really comes in handy. When I have it all set up correctly.
So 6 plus 5.
No, minus a D6.
Oh, minus
gotta roll it.
D6.
Yeah, you might only roll a 1. This would be the good time for a Fox to roll a 1. Hey, all right. So 17. The house, you keep checking house after house, Artemis, you're running down the line, and you're not finding much of any. Like, most of them are either frozen solid or similar to what Pogo had found, where there's enough damage to the place where a roof is caved in a little bit that the place is filled with snow. There could be bodies under that, you don't know. But as far as anything moving or alive, nothing that you've seen so far. We'll come back to that in just a moment because you did find something, Fox, but it wouldn't be the first few houses. So it'll be, let me know, or well, remind me if I don't come back to it here in just a moment for you, Fox.
Okay.
For what you do find. Nazim actually being kind of already down the street a ways and kind of he went down a different intersection. Pogo, the reason that I mentioned that is because Nazim floats. So you're not going to see footprints in the snow, and he went around a corner, and it would be difficult to find. So I guess,
I'm not that smart, so I'll just be like, Nazim!
Okay, that's fair. Right.
Where are ya? Fucking cold, I'm bitter, I'm annoyed, where are you, man?
Nazim, you hear Halfling shouting for you.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and fuck it. I'm just gonna use my new thing. I'm just gonna be like, all right, let's see here. And I kind of fly up a little bit, about 5 feet above my ascendant step now. Like,
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna go all the way up about 20 feet and look around the town and see if I can find Nazim.
Okay.
Whoa.
All right. Then you go lifting up. After hearing those shouts, Nazim, you look up because it's something. Well, I guess I'll put it to you this way: there's a momentary terror as you realize there's something flying nearby. After you know what just happened to the town with this investigation you were just doing here, but you look up and see it is a mostly harmless halfling, thankfully, and not anything large and white with big wings.
My arms are kind of like shaky back and forth, like I'm standing on like a balance beam.
Yeah.
Plus Rodad.
Oh, this is new.
There's something else, Nazim, that stands out to you. This would be below your passive that I'm going to send you a message here. How do I word this in a way that Nazim would translate it? There we go. There we go.
So anyways, if I see him, I am going to levitate to him. And it only lasts 10 minutes, but I'm just going to try this out since I feel this new ability, this magical power in me.
Sure.
And so when I get there, is there anything else weird happen when I come up and then start heading over to Nazim?
You float your way down. There is a distinct smell of rotting flower petals when you land. It's a sickly sweet smell. It's not a bad smell.
All right.
It's think of it like potpourri that's still has some of the smell to it, but it's like like too organic. There's too much water in it, so there's like a little bit of decay and a little bit of like the sweet smell left. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Well, okay.
Not...
I mean, you understand what I'm saying. It's like think of it like I guess moldy potpourri or something. I don't know.
Sure. All right,
but you land in that like very distinct smell is kind of surrounding both you and Nazim at this point.
Have you whoa. I couldn't find anyone else alive here. Do you know maybe what happened? I was just trying to figure out if anyone here still knew, why this place is attacked. I feel like we need a rest. I don't think I can continue much further without sleep. I was hoping we could help, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to do much here.
Nice trick there, man. I'll go ahead and fill him in on what I've discovered, and then make a suggestion that we find a home that we can just hunker down for just a moment and rest for a bit.
Do you know enough about? Do you think the dragon's not going to come back to eat more? I mean, if he cleared out this town, I suppose we're probably all right for now.
That's what I'm thinking right now.
Well, we should probably maybe let the others know. Did you see where the others went off to?
Did not. Where'd you learn that trick?
Just one of those weird new things ever since I came back from the dead that I can do now, and I wasn't sure if it would work, but I'm getting the hang of it a little bit. I don't think it lasts very long, though. But I wanted to try it out, and I'm fucking tired of this snow up and getting in my boots. This was a little bit nicer. All right. Can you float? How high can you float up?
Just a couple of feet.
A couple of feet. I can go a little higher than that. I'm gonna find the rest of the group. And is there a layout? Like when I flew up, can I see a layout of this town to where there's maybe less destroyed buildings or
okay, interesting,
like an edge?
So this is actually, you know what? We're going to come back to that in just a second because it's going to affect two of you. There is useful information that you would be able to kind of parse by getting up a little bit higher. So we'll come back to that in just a second here. Norok and Sarah, still following after him. He is keeping ahead of you, but so the reason, I guess I'll put it this way. You both feel like, especially with the broom, you should be able to outpace him pretty quickly. But the exhaustion levels coupled with his kind of fear and nervousness, he's kind of running a little bit faster, and you're both very tired. So I guess with the broom, technically, you're not really reduced in speed because the broom isn't exhausted. But either way, he's keeping up pretty well. You guys are actually having to work a little bit to keep up with him. And finally, you come around another end of a road, and at a corner of this intersection here is what looks like a stables. It's the building is in the corner there, but there's clearly, behind that there's like a big pen, like a big fenced-in area where there should be horses. And sure enough, there are frozen blocks on their sides in the middle of the pen, as well as a couple of very deep gouges in the dirt in the middle of the pen. It's all covered over in ice, but you can see these kind of deep clawed gouges that probably 4 feet across and maybe 12 feet in length. So quite gargantuan, considering to kind of math out the size of the claws that would have had to have made it. They would have to be very big, of course. Anyway, the building there, though, the boy stops, kind of just staring at it, and he lowers the bow. And the building is mostly kind of like the roof is caved in a way. It's in bad shape, but it's not frozen. It wasn't hit directly by the blast. You don't think, but he's kind of staring at it and not moving as you guys catch up to him. Just standing there.
Is
Oh,
that
oh,
where
no.
the people are that you need to check on?
He doesn't look at you, and he's just silent for a moment, and he gives one very short, subtle nod.
Why don't you wait right here? I'm gonna go in. Now, is this a barn or a building next to it?
So it's a stables, but it's like the home. This is the home of a small town stables. This is like the living quarters. There's a big fenced-in area, and then there's a big loft, like an area where it's not closed in. But what I'm saying is it's not a barn for a stables, but basically the overhang area is further back. It's back behind the fenced-in area.
Okay, then
And he's standing in front of the house part, basically.
I'm just gonna go past him, just kind of pat him on the shoulder and be like, "You just stay here a second. I'll go look." And I will go in.
Okay. You make your way to the door, and there's enough give that it does just actually open. But as soon as you get the door open, you can see that there's only probably half of this main room, and it was a decent sized kind of living area, it seems like. But the roof is caved in, like it's collapsed in with snow. So there just isn't much to see. You don't see any bodies or anything like that. But the kind of the whole thing is just caved in and destroyed. If anybody had been in there, very unlikely they could have survived.
Okay. And there's no way to tell if somebody's under that roof without moving it, I'm assuming.
Not in practical means. If you have other means, let me know. But as far as just by looking at it or starting to dig, not really.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything unless I polymorph. I'll just come out. I don't know if they're in there. We'd have to move a lot of rubble. Is there anywhere else they would go?
He doesn't say anything. In fact, actually, Justin, I meant to tell you this too. So somebody updated this, which I'm pretty psyched about, because it had actually been broken for a long time. But
okay.
Well, god damn it, you guys didn't know his fucking name. You guys don't know his name. Ignore that. Because nobody's it's not Rudiger or whatever the fuck it was. I watched that clip too. I had to find it, but anyways, so this add-on though, somebody updated it because enough people wanted it. The size is wrong. I'll have to fix that. Anyways, he doesn't say anything. He just he looks up at you and then down. Well, I guess if you're on the broom, you're about eye level with him.
Yeah, I'd be hovering at head level.
Yeah. Okay. He doesn't say anything. He just kind of looks at you and looks back at the house and just stand there, mouth still closed. Doesn't say anything.
Okay. I'm gonna do something. Don't freak out. It's still me. Everything is fine. Do I need to do this while I'm inside, or can a giant ape fit through the door?
It would not be able to fit through the door. This is a human-sized town. Everything's pretty, standard, normal size that you're used to. So a giant ape wouldn't be able to fit easily through the door at all.
So I will go inside then, and then cast polymorph and turn into a giant ape and start trying to move rubble out of the way.
Okay. All right. You can expect that is going to take quite a while. It's not just rubble. It's literally the roof. So you have to like get through broken timber frames and things like that before you can even get to snow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but at this point, Sarah doesn't. She has no idea what to do, so she's just trying to do something.
Sure. Okay. All right, then. So Norok, you've seen all of this, and we're standing near enough to the boy, but he hasn't said anything. He's just basically kind of staring at the house, like in shock. It seems. What are you doing?
I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder and say, "Why don't we go help? See if we can at least see what happened. Maybe say goodbye."
He looks up at you, and you can see that kind of really subtle chin trembling, like he's trying to hold back tears. And he gives just a very slight nod and starts walking towards the house slowly.
Help moving some of the rubble.
Okay. You similarly have trouble getting through the door, of course, but once you're inside, you can start clearing things. All right. So we will jump back over to Nazim, Arteme, and Pogo. The reason that I kind of gave that a second there is because specifically Arteme, in the houses you've gone past, checking in what you can. You haven't seen any people, but it seems like you guys are in the kind of in the path. It seems like from the information that the three of you parsed together, if you were to talk about it, it seems like the dragon probably flew over and blasted a line of ice and then took another pass and went through another direction and did that numerous times, crossing the whole town, which is why there are houses in a row that are completely frozen and others that are just taking the collateral damage, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you are finding them occasionally, but then you'll find 2 or 3 in a row that are just solid blocks. The reason that I mention that is after you pass the last section where they're pretty much solid, to the point where you really can't do much with it unless you were to chip away all the ice. You looking up, trying to kind of come around the corner. There's kind of open sky, and you come around a corner. You can see that there's just the slightest disturbance in the skyline. It's still dark. The sun hasn't quite come up yet, but there's just enough light on the far mountain that you can see just the thinnest disturbance in the air there, and you realize it's smoke. That there's smoke coming from one of these buildings, and you start kind of walking in that direction. Smoke meaning obviously there's got to be a fire of some sort, and maybe that would mean people. Pogo, when you are up, high enough above this, after you have your discussion with Nazim, and you kind of lift back up again and turn in that direction, looking around a little bit, you do see similarly. You're coming from a different direction, so you're kind of triangulating this position almost, but you're coming from a different direction and see just the thinnest vapors of smoke coming up a chimney that are being blown away instantly by the frozen wind. But there's still something burning in what looks like a business of some sort. You can't tell from this distance. There's just too much in the way. But
it's a magic shop.
Nazim, I think someone might still be alive. There's some smoke over here. Let's go check it out. Come on. Do I also see? Do I see? If I see, you know what? I'm gonna also hold the stone and speak to the rest of the group and try to verbally describe the description of where that house is. So I'll do my best to describe where the smoke is coming from.
Okay, sure.
Or you get back from Sarah's as weird ape sound.
All right. Well, I'm going. Pogo's on a mission to find. Pogo's on a mission to find something that's comfortable.
Nazim, you going with as well? Kind of floating in that direction.
Yeah, with them.
Okay. You're able to kind of float below Pogo enough that you can kind of just follow where he's floating up above to be able to see. You can only do that once a day,
I'm
right?
also I can only do it once a day, and it only lasts 10 minutes.
Okay.
So if you want to let me know when that is going to be close, I assume I float down casually. As I'm on my way to do it, though, I am casting invisibility on myself before we get to the place.
Okay.
No, I'm not, because it's concentration, and so is levitate. So I will not be doing that.
I'm just slowly going to try to make my way there as stealthily as possible.
Okay, Fox. Go ahead and give me stealth checks for Pogo with advantage because of invisibility.
No, I can't do invisibility. Levitate's concentration, so I'm just levitating.
But you're going to stay up then? You're not going to come down and then do invisibility? Okay.
Nope.
Right.
I'm sick of this bullshit, this white bullshit. 20 tons of this asshole fucking snow.
Well, Arteme doing her best crunches through the snow nearby. Pogo, you looking off to just to your left a little ways. You can see her footprints. You don't see her necessarily, but the sound is more than audible as
Hey, I
she's
still got
stepping through the ice.
Still got a
26, yeah.
27. Yeah, so
27,
26.
yeah. No, 20, yeah, I had it right. Yeah. But you guys making your kind of converging on this position. Arteme, you come around a corner there and see the kind of open air, like a big awning kind of area, basically, of what looks like this must be a smithy. It's frozen, like it's not solid block of ice. It's just the kind of blast damage. But it looks like a smithy is the kind of what the building looks like. And you look up and sure enough, the smokestack, the smoke that you're seeing, what little wisps of it there still are visible, you are coming from the building at the back part of the smithy where the forge would probably be. But it's not lively. There aren't people around or anything like that. But you can still see little the smoke coming up from the chimney there.
Okay.
You were closest, so.
All right.
I'm gonna go into it and check it out.
Okay. You open the front door, step up to it, and open it, and it actually swings open. Give me a deck save. Pogo, you do see Arteme cross the street towards this building where the smoke is coming out of it, and then she disappears beneath the awning. Nazim coming around the corner, you can actually see her step up to a doorway and then open the doorway, and then see her. Well, you see her as soon as she steps in through the doorway. Something flashes in from her right, Nazim, and you see it hit her hard in the head, and she kind of stumbles forward like further into the doorway, and then like a foot, like a boot, like somebody's boot with fur on it, kind of pushes her with their foot, and then slams the door shut.
So definitely somebody alive in there.
Arteme, did anybody else see that?
Nazim's the only one that could have seen that. So, Pogo, you just saw Arteme, go under the awning and disappear, but Nazim actually saw her get hit. Arteme, give me a con save with disadvantage. Actually, your exhaustion roll will be fine. We'll call it with the exhaustion roll.
I'm just gonna go ahead and lower my levitation down towards the normal height. Like, okay. Did you knock? Is anyone home?
I didn't knock, but...
Are you okay?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, hang on. I don't think Justin caught what happened there. She walked in through the doorway. Something smacked her and pushed her inside, and then slammed the door shut.
Oh, got it. I thought she pushed her outside and then slammed.
No, pushed her inside.
Right.
Oh,
inside. And yes, inside. Sorry,
My bad.
I might have said that backwards. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the way you said it was outside.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
In that case,
pushes her with their foot further in the building, and then slams the door shut. But Arteme, with that check, you were knocked unconscious. So
I'm just gonna go ahead and land by the door, and I'd probably do the same thing. I'm just gonna open the door.
Sure. All right.
Yeah, just open the door.
You walk up to the door.
Forward.
There's no window, there's no glass in the door, but you grab the door and open it, and it swings open like surprisingly cleanly, like it's not frozen. The door doesn't crackle like the last one did. Where I described you how the doorknobs had ice in them. You rotate the doorknob and it spins freely.
Is anyone still in here? Is anyone alive?
Well, you open the door, and you as soon as you swing it open, you look inside, and there's a very large human. I didn't so I know Becky knows this. Everybody, this is a Thrigan town. I think Ben and Becky for sure. Well, at least probably remember those. It's a Viking. It's a human culture that is very similar to like Vikings, for example. Just imagine Viking-like people. Let's say, right? That's what all the architecture is, and so on. Anyways, a Thrigan man standing there that kind of spins in place, and he's got like a big heavy. He spins around, and you can see Arteme laying unconscious on the floor in front of him as he spins around with this club and immediately starts to try to swing it towards you. Give me a dex save.
Oh crap!
Yours will be, I guess, just minus your exhaustion. It's still just a flat roll. I mean, you do see it coming, but not enough time to really do anything beyond just your dex save.
Flat roll with my. Oh, no, that's not going to matter, I don't think.
Well, minus a D8. Yeah, it's not going to be enough. Club comes down square, like right between the eyes. Nazim, you see this too. You floated now. You're probably only 15 feet away because you had to go around the buildings, but Pogo just kind of descended straight towards the building, going over them a little bit, if that makes sense. So we got there before you. But you can see this through the doorway of little Pogo getting clubbed with, something heavy like a wooden, looks like a table leg, basically.
Pogo's
like
just happy to
leg.
be asleep, though.
Well, go ahead and give me your
That's
con
some
save.
exhaustion.
Oh, con
There
save.
you
That's
go.
right. That's right. We'll see if
Yeah,
I
the
do.
dex
All
save
right.
was seeing
Seeing
avoid
this,
the
how
hit,
far
but-
away is that?
You're like 15 feet away at this point.
All right, I'm just gonna cast noise and a small sight in front of him with my spells, just like some small fireworks and a loud popping noise, just for distraction.
Okay. 9 damage to Pogo, and you're not knocked unconscious. Just a bad clubbing to the face, as it kind of pushing you back a little bit. He doesn't kick you, but you're kind of knocked away from the.
What are you doing,
impact.
man? What are you attacking me for? I'm not. Does he seem like, obviously he attacked me, but he doesn't seem like, does he seem like he is like a bad person, or does he seem like he's just here and
He
just
looked like you
scared
guys
or
surprised
something?
him and scared him. He doesn't know what you guys are here for.
All right.
What do you want? We
Whoa,
don't have time
we're just
for
trying
looters.
to. No, we're not looting. We're not looting. We're just trying. We just got here. We're with a couple other people. We saw some explosions in the sky, and we're just here looking for anyone who's still alive to see if we can help out. We saw some smoke coming from your chimney here. We're just here. I apologize. We're not here to hurt anybody, especially not humans. We're here to figure out what the hell happened.
Persuasion check with advantage.
We're also very tired.
Well, okay. So the what's the word I'm looking for? The competing role essentially got a natural 20, but well, you actually rolled really well though. His kind of anger clearly softens a little bit, and he kind of lets his arm down. He was holding the club back up like he was preparing to strike you again. He kind
I'm
of
just gonna
turns.
literally like sit down. I'm gonna pull Fox like kind of up and sit down on the floor.
Well,
Just, like,
he's
heavy
between
breathing.
you and her. He's
Oh.
like he's standing in the doorway,
Oh.
like blocking you. He kind of turns a little bit and steps to the side a
Real
little
quick,
bit, and points.
there's a few more people in our group. Don't Nazim, just relax for a minute, Nazim.
Nazim, as
Don't
you're
do anything
approaching-
weird. Don't do anything weird.
I already flashbanged this fool.
Oh, did you?
He was so actually right about now really is when it would be going off.
Yeah.
He turns and kind of gestures towards Artemis' unconscious form on the floor there. Is she with? And then just as he's like halfway through that statement, there is an eruption of explode, like booming lights and sound from outside the door, and he immediately kind of grabs the club in both hands and brings it back up like a baseball bat, about to swing it at you again.
I'm just gonna cast sleep at like the highest level I fucking can.
Okay.
64 point. Yeah, I probably won't put myself to sleep. There's a decent chance. I'm just gonna.
Oh, so was your goal to put yourself to sleep and get yourself?
No.
some rest?
I'm putting him to sleep. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna cast this. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I'll remove that in a minute.
I think the damage
And-
roll is probably all the dice.
Yep.
5d8. 5d8 is the default level. Okay. Jeez,
So
how high did you
this
upcast
is
that?
that's highest 5th level, and just to try
Okay.
to put this fucking guy to sleep because it only affects the guy with the lowest hit points.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got less than 64, but I just
Well-
want to put him to sleep.
You the incantation exits your lips just in time as the swing is about to get to. Basically you have a fraction of a second before you would swing, and you see this kind of lethargy appear in his eyes, and he kind of stumbles forward and he kind of tries to stop himself by putting his hand up, and he grabs the frame of the door and then falls face first, like where his head is sticking out the doorway.
All right, don't hurt him. He's fine. He's just scared. Oh, fucking
As there's blood pouring out of your temple from the first hit.
fuck.
Probably nose, not really temple, probably ear rather.
I'll help him up, and I'll help Pogo up, of course, and just kind of take a look at the guy's neck and shoulders to check for leather.
No, we're not checking him for. Stop being
Artemis,
weird.
Artemis, you wake up with this awful like ringing in your ears. It's still like a little bit deafening. You kind of eyes open, lift yourself up off the floor a little bit and look around. Sure enough, you're in the front basically part of the building of a smithy business. It seems there is a very large man laying in the doorway behind
He's
you,
just
and Pogo and
sleeping.
Nazim eyeing the skin of the man very hungrily.
Okay, so the guy's asleep?
He's sleeping. I didn't want to hurt him. I just want to put him to sleep so we can maybe, sit him up and tie him up a little bit, or at least take his fucking, what is that, a bit of wood? Is he beating us with a bit of wood?
It is for sure
Fucking-
a table leg. It's like a solid oak
Fucking
table
place.
leg.
Can't believe he knocked you out with a bit of wood. We need
Okay.
to sleep. That we can't let that happen. People are gonna talk.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, hello? Is there someone else here?
You hear whispers of two people, like shout whispering back and forth. Shut up! Shut up! It's gonna be
all
fine.
right.
Shut up!
Hold on. We're not- if you have any table legs in there, just you don't have to bring them out. We're friends.
Did he say table legs?
All right.
It's two. It sounds like two
Listen.
female, like probably adults.
Listen, you might know this. There's just a few of us. We're here in your town. We came to help. I apologize. I put this large man.
We don't have anything. If you're just here to, we don't have anything. Just take what you want and go.
We'll give you something. That's fine. I don't even. You don't understand. We're here to help.
We're not open for business.
Yeah, clearly. I don't know if you've been outside, but this town has been destroyed. We're trying to help who we can. Do you want to? If you want to get out of here alive, and maybe we can help you get to the next town.
I told you they're here to help.
I have
But
an idea. Who has the jar that can produce fluids for the day?
I do. It's in the bag of holding.
All right, I'm gonna interrupt this, and I'm gonna grab that jar if that's okay.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna hush everyone around and have the jar produce like warm tea or warm coffee, the equivalent of a warm beverage, and offer it as a peace offering, I guess.
I don't think
Do
it
we
can
know where the
make
whispers
tea.
are
It can
coming
just make
from?
water, but I can make tea with the water it makes.
We're gonna make some tea.
Don't make
Uh,
mayonnaise.
Give them
The big, it's calorie dense.
Yeah, exactly. Mayonnaise is calorically dense, and clearly these people are
Yeah,
going to
you
need
need
something.
calories. It's comfort food.
That's funny. That's literally my exact thought when he said mayonnaise. I was like, well, it's calorically dense. And then
Yeah,
Justin goes, well, it's
dense.
calorically, or Justin says, it's calorie
Yeah.
dense.
You just eat a bunch of mayonnaise, have a multivitamin each day. You're fine.
Oh wait, I have the boots of Elvenkind, so I don't make any sound, and no matter what I'm walking on.
All right,
No.
Good point, Fox. That's why it's important for you guys to remember your characters, because I forgot that you had those. So in that case, yeah, Pogo, you would have seen her as she went between the streets, but only because you were already looking at the building where the smoke was coming from. But you still opened the door, Fox. So
People
that
would people would have heard me yelling for what's
Yeah.
his face earlier,
Yeah.
like a minute before.
I'll tell you too, Fox, that it happened like the fraction of the second that you opened the door. It was clear that somebody was inside watching through the window, and when you opened the door is when they hit you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's fine.
immediately.
Because
Yeah,
I
so
would have just seen her like thinking she went in.
It was
so I
instant.
would've
Yeah,
just-
yeah.
So, just to let you know, we're not here to hurt you. You can feel free to come out. We'll make some tea, get you some food. I had to put this big man he's just sleeping. He's snoring out here. I had to take away this table leg because he's trying to bash our heads in with it. If you'd like to come out, feel free. Please don't attack us, but we don't mean you any harm.
There's more hushed whispers of two. It sounds like two women talking back and forth. Okay, we're coming out, but just
No, you're fine. And I'm gonna
we've
tell-
had enough for
I'm gonna-
today. So just don't do anything weird.
I'm gonna tell Nazim to stop fucking floating around for a minute. Scare him.
Did somebody say weird?
Stop being super weird,
Does-
man.
Does
That's
Nazim
Nazim's
look
specialty.
like Nazim?
it
Oh
looks
yeah,
all
does
creepy.
he have your
Oh, yeah.
normal scene? Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I'm gonna let you-
You see a blonde woman with these kind of, the kind of not Nordic braids, but what's like Oktoberfest style braids, you know what I'm talking about? I guess German, really. Kind of peek her head around the corner, looking into the room. There's steam lifting up because Nazim is pouring out this hot water from the alchemy jug. So steam lifting up from that, and she kind of there's a clear desire for hot water or anything that isn't frozen, it seems. And she kind of very carefully steps around the corner, and another woman with red hair steps out right behind her. And
Are
they
either of you
see
hurt at all? can
They
help you if you're
both
hurt.
they both show some scrapes and bruising, the kind of stuff that you might expect if they've been surviving here for the last few hours. But they kind of look over the counter. You're like I said, you're in the kind of front business area of a smithy, and they look kind of past the counter and they see the body that is still laying in the door with the door kind of propped open from it. And he's just sleeping. You say?
Sure. There, tell you what, I'm just going to go and I'm going to grab the table leg and move it to the side and kind of just get out of the way. Feel free to wake him up. He's a little frightened, and I mean, I can understand. It seems like you've been through a lot, but feel free to wake him up.
The blonde woman looks at Arteme. Did he hit you, miss? He was
Yep.
just trying to protect us. He didn't mean anything by it.
That's understandable. The dragon did quite a number in the town.
Yeah.
Has this happened before? Is this all from one night?
It hasn't happened before. They both look pretty shaken. They come out and they're kind of standing still in place with their arms crossed and shivering, heads kind of eyes downcast a little bit towards the man on the ground. The blonde woman kind of lifts her head up a little bit. I'm Inslog. This is Thurid here. That's Halder on the ground. To be honest, he could probably use a good rest anyways, but I hope you didn't really hurt him.
No,
He
he
didn't mean to hurt you guys.
Yeah,
That would be much appreciated. We don't have much to offer you, and thanks. Things are kind of a mess right now, but some tea would be wonderful.
Yeah, we have a few more people looking for any other survivors in the town. Have you heard anyone else, or does it seem pretty? Have you gone out to look, or has this been where you've been holed up since that attack?
We went out to look for a little bit earlier, but we couldn't find anybody. Just those in there, kind of their teeth are chattering a little bit. Just the blocks, and I haven't tried even making it to home. It's just so cold out there.
Guessing the roof on this building itself is still intact.
Yeah.
It's just cold.
Okay.
Right.
I didn't give you enough of a description because it's covered in snow. Now that you're inside, you can looking up at the inside of the roof. You can see that there are metal trusses holding like braces that are holding the roof trusses in place. So this building seemed to have more structural integrity than the majority of a mountain town probably would.
All right. Well, at least some people made it. Maybe the rest of the group might find someone else alive. I mean, it gives us some hope. We're gonna once we figure out the exact situation, we'll see if we can find a way to get you all out of here. I can think of one way. We could, and I'm not gonna say anything out loud, but in my mind, I'm thinking of possibly using. We could send them to the keep if they can't walk far enough using a magic circle, but that's all I'm thinking about. Yep. That's it. I'm just gonna help them. Like if they need anything, I'll help out. But that's it for me for now.
Okay. Nazim, Arteme.
I gotta use the restroom. I'll be back.
I'm just gonna find somewhere to put like the other 8 gallons of water because the jug makes 8 gallons of fresh water. So I wasn't gonna
And you don't
make
want to
8
waste
gallons of tea. So
Sure.
I made cups of tea for whoever wanted them, and
Okay.
I don't know what to do with the rest of the water, but at least I'll have fresh water for a
Foot bath.
while.
What'd you say?
Warm
What'd
up
you
the
say?
feet. Warm
Huh?
up the feet a little bit, like a
Oh,
small
warm
foot
up their
bath.
feet.
Well, they're freezing. They've been there for hours.
Yeah, I mean they do. To be fair, they've got a lot of well stored water right now. It's just a little on the cold side, but there's plenty of water here if they can warm it up. With some time and some heat, which is in short supply at the moment for sure. All right, we'll jump back over to Arteme and Sarah. Sorry, Norok and Sarah at the moment. Sorry, Nazim, were you doing something else there too?
Rip Van Winkle, I'm going to kind of keep an eye on him as he wakes up. I'm just going to make sure that he doesn't wake up violently and prepare to restrain him if he does decide to become less friendly.
Okay. It is not concentration based, and it lasts for. Is it 1 minute? Is the duration? It's just upcasted for higher hit points, but not for duration. So I think it is just 1 minute is the duration. So actually, about that time, as you guys are having this discussion, he does start to kind of groggily shake his head a little bit and stir, and he kind of starts to kind of roll himself halfway over, and he looks up and sees all of you guys standing with Inslog and Thurid. So here, I'll give you That's it. Up to you guys if you take notes of this or not. But Inslog is the blonde woman. We'll just do it that way. She looks very strong. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that she looks like she probably works the smithy. Thurid, on the other hand, is the red-haired woman. How would I describe that for you guys? Probably, Sarah's not here. Arteme, you would probably pick up some things that there's a certain probably proficiency with herbs and things like that is the impression that you get from her. She has a distinct smell of rare herbs. We'll call it that. Does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying?
So she could be the apothecary or something.
That's what your impression is she's probably an apothecarian or a medicine woman, something of that sort, probably. And then the other name they gave you was the male human that smacked you guys as Halder. Those are the names that they give you. You don't know. You can't tell his profession by looking at him. He does look, strong, but not necessarily not swinging a hammer all day kind of strong. Anyways, so his stirring, Nazim, as he kind of looks up at you, looks over and sees the two of them, and kind of shakes his head, and he kind of begins to stand himself up quickly, but clearly tell that you guys are like pouring tea and things like, or trying to mix tea and stuff like that. It doesn't look like you're hostile in any way, so he kind of acquiesces, it seems, and the tenseness is gone. You're not here to try to steal from us, then?
Not even close. We just came here. We were with a friend of ours trying to go up. Do you guys remember he was trying to find... Wait. I'm sorry. Did I miss it? Are the Norak and stuff back with this group, or are they still doing that?
No, they're still. You haven't seen them. Yeah.
Sorry. I was gone for like a minute and a half. I was sure what I missed. We were helping a friend, with... I guess he was going somewhere to bury his dead compatriot and happened to be past this town, and we saw the sky light up while we were trying to sleep, and we rushed here as soon as we can.
As you're talking, he's listening, but he's kind of nodding and listening as he walks behind the counter, and he's kind of looking behind the counter for something. You can continue, but he kind of, as this is he's doing this as you're talking, and he stands back up and he's holding what looks like small clean cloths. And he comes back around and kind of looks at Nazim and kind of gets Nazim's acknowledgement. He dips it into the hot water to get it wet, and he kind of holds it up towards the smack, the bloody spot where he hit you with the table leg, and then starts to try to do the same for Arteme, and then kind of just gives her the thing because he's not sure what to do.
I'll just take it and clean my own wound.
Sure.
You can continue, probably. He's just doing that to, try to...
Well, thanks. Appreciate the cleaner-ish rag. So, when our friends... We have some friends who are still looking around for other people, but when they get back here, I told them to look for the House of the Smoke, but... have
you found any others? Are there anyone else?
We haven't found anyone else, unfortunately.
There was a child, but that's it.
There was a child?
Yeah, there was a child with Norak and Sarah.
What do they look
must
like?
have missed that.
His like, he clearly perks up, and it's okay. It is very, how do I say this? Very thin hope is the expression that you get on his face.
You're about to tell this guy that it's not his fucking kid, so good job there.
You guys are real good at that.
We're just gonna make everyone awkward as fuck.
A child?
You were adopted. What? I've known you 8 seconds. I'm just telling you.
Everyone is dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
a child where? What do they look like? A boy? A girl?
It was a boy, but they looked like a mixed breed.
You can't just say that. Oh boy!
Jesus Christ, Fox!
Is that a Canadian thing? Are you allowed to say that in Canada? Yikers!
I was thinking it would have been better.
How do I describe this? Maybe not. It was, more like a mutt of a human, more like a mutt of a creature.
I was drinking, Fox.
A
goddamn.
A mixed breed.
It's an accurate description from how far away it was, okay?
You know, the kind you're not supposed to use your drinking fountain, that kind.
Jesus.
Hey, I have nothing
That's
wrong
fine.
with people who are from. Like, there's nothing
It
wrong
was
with
just
it.
it was just a very funny way to say it. I would
Oh,
not
it
have
really was.
expected you to say
Yeah.
the phrase mixed breed.
That was hysterical. I know what you meant, Fox. I'm
Yeah.
not giving you any shit. I know.
Yeah,
It was just
funny.
very funny. Oh, shit.
I'm gonna grab my food and hop in.
Okay. When she says that, though, you see, as you kind of half expected when the question even came up, the kind of hope just is gone. He says, "Then that's it's got to be Sig's boy then." I'm I mean, I'm glad he made it. Don't get me wrong. Just guess we'll have to dig.
Well, we're a little worried about the current state of this town. We're not quite sure. Like, we can. Are you talking about digging just to find any, like to give people their last rites or bury the bodies?
It's just something we say up here when in the mountains when we need to find something. When you go digging if you're looking for something, you're
All right.
just looking for something.
Turn of phrase. It's a nice turn of phrase, I suppose. So I guess while we're waiting for the rest of our group, based off what we've seen, and I think probably Nazim and Arteme can agree with me here, this doesn't seem like a safe place, especially if that creature comes back. And we're fairly strong and equipped, but not for anything of that nature. Do you know of anywhere around here that we could maybe help get you to, or that's a safer spot? Someplace, maybe temporary, but someplace that's just going to be warmer or safer that we can get you to.
I ain't leaving, and I can't imagine that Inslog or Thurdy kind of looks at them, and they both shake their heads until I find my boy, at least.
All right. I mean, that's fair. It's your prerogative. It's just something we could offer. Do you know where your boy was?
Back at the trestle, he was working, same as I was. We work late nights up here.
Well, I've got to admit, we might have a bit of time. I don't imagine. You know what? I don't know if Pogo would know enough about dragons to even make that assumption. So never mind. I don't know. I don't know if or when it's coming back. I do know that our group, once we figure a few things out here for the meantime, is probably going to need to, if not here, find some other place to sleep or at least get some rest. We've been on this journey for too long to where we weren't expecting to run into this kind of an issue, and we're gonna need something. But in the meantime, I'm sure we could do the best to help you with what maybe perhaps find the ones you're looking for. Dig with you, so you say.
If you could describe like where the area is, I could go check it out and try and thaw out a few to see.
Sure. I'll go ahead and okay. All of you would gather that the remaining cold here is residual, I guess is how I'll say this. So the ice that is here, it's not magical in nature. It's just ice, basically. Now, the initial blast, of course, as the creature that emitted it, it is much more powerful then. But now it is basically, it will melt naturally with time too. So keep that in mind too. That this isn't going to be like a permanently frozen ice crystal of a town. It will melt, probably with spring, most likely, because it is, of course, going into winter. But the unnatural cold of the area is going to kind of slow that certainly too.
Sure.
So, basically the reason I'm pointing that out is that Arteme, if you guys built fires, whatever the case is, you guys can melt it. You have seen that with Produce Flame and so on, that you probably would be able to make some headway over time.
I'd go to the area he describes and then just slightly melt to where we could see the faces so they could identify the people at the very least.
Sure. Okay.
I mean, we probably, at this point, if they're already passed away, we might be able to do something quicker, but less deliberate and precise, so to speak.
That's D&D for you. Imagine that ridiculous, awful situation.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there anyone else? Is there anyone else that we would need to find for you in order for you to be happy enough, or at least content enough here for us to continue on? I don't want to be dark and grim, and I apologize for it. But if we do find your boy passed on, will we be able to at least help you three, or will you still want to stay here? You can try to rebuild, but from what we've seen so far, it doesn't look like you're gonna have the greatest of chances rebuilding here. At least not right now. Perhaps when the snow melts.
rebuilding is the least of our worries at the moment. It's just trying to find our families, whatever keepsakes we can. But I mean, as far as you don't have the time it's going to take to do that, we don't even know yet how bad things are. It's only been a few hours.
Well, we may
You
have
don't,
to
you don't.
do.
I mean, as much as we appreciate,
Fox.
he kind of looks back over at them. As much as we appreciate your willingness to help, and certainly by all means, help as much as you can. But if you need to go, then go. I don't expect I'll be leaving this place.
Arteme, do you know much about dragons? No,
Not
or
particularly.
perhaps. Just all I want to know is, in my mind, I feel as though if it's already been through here and ate some horses and mud and other things, perhaps it has its fill for a amount of time. Like, I had a pet snake once when I was a kid and only ate like one time every 3 weeks.
So I will go ahead and tell you that as you're saying this, Pogo, you remember at the very least that it was 3 nights ago, 4 nights ago, when you guys were still on the plains when you were at the foothills, well, at least when Sarah had told you that the white frosted feeds had flown over and grabbed the largest wagon of the Ahigo orcs, and presumably, with the intent to eat. With the
That's right, that
horses
was
and
4
the
days ago.
horses. Yeah, that was about 4 days ago.
So this thing might be back quick. Although, if we stay small enough, we might not be. If we stay small, try to keep warm, maybe by magical means, keep quiet. Perhaps we can avoid its detection. There are things we could do.
Maybe.
Might not be the
Yeah.
greatest idea, but it'll at least get us back on our feet, and going forward, we can at least maybe search the town for any other survivors and find out what we could do. What do you guys, if we can get them in a position ready to leave, what do you guys think about creating that magic circle and sending them back to the keep? We can let them stay at our keep in the meantime. Just to let you know, by the way, we are somewhat familiar. I'm speaking to the Inslagthur and Haldor. We're adventurers here with some magical means, and we have it's not the greatest in the world, but we do have somewhere we could send you that you'll at least be safe in the meantime, and they can also send you other places should need be. It's just a small keep, and it's conditions similar to this, but at least you're far away from that kind of disaster. Nothing's going to eat you there. At least
We don't.
doubtful.
Is
You don't have
your
to.
offer?
I'm just letting you know it's an option.
We certainly appreciate. We just don't have the kind of money to pay for a thing. But right now, that's not even a concern, anyways. We really. I'm falling asleep just standing here, and I don't know if it's what you did or what, but I think the both of them need some rest as well. This has been the worst night of our lives, I think, for all of us. I think I can say safely. So we need to get some rest. And to be honest, and I mean no offense by this, but the three of you, except for, he kind of gives Nazim a weird look, just like he's finally seeing him for the first time. Except for maybe you, you don't look the best for wear either. It looks like you could probably use a rest as well. The fire's still warm in the back. You can at least there's no beds or anything, but if you guys need to curl up and on the floor, you're welcome to it. At least it's warm.
I think we'll go ahead and we'll enjoy some of this tea, and we'll wait for our compatriots. And if we stay here, that's fine. We may or may not, but we'll figure it out. We'll give them some more time to hopefully find some more survivors. We might go help them as well, but we'll wait till they meet up with us.
All right.
Much appreciated, by the way.
Well, at least I know that you guys aren't looters. Then come and go as you please. But if you see strangers, I mean, I guess how many others are with you, and what do they look like? So if they come through the door, I don't hit them with something.
Well, we've got 2 Yogs. One of them's a bit worse for wear, and then we have another halfling girl like me. But they're
You're a halfling girl. What's up with the mustache?
well, halfling like me, and yeah, this is probably like half falling off too. I'm just like,
The glue's probably long since fallen off.
yeah, this is not what I meant when I made my disguise. It's just fucked up. Looks like I have what's that disease where your hair falls out?
No, not alopecia's a skin.
Yeah, no,
No, it is
alopecia. Yeah. I've
Is it
just got
alopecia?
like
Okay.
alopecia all over my face and my head.
like a bad reaction to all the glue being on your skin for so
Alopecia's
long.
just falling out. No,
right.
just like a small little person like myself, and she'll be
your Yog
she'll be
friends
fine.
though, they're amenable.
Yeah, they're perfectly fine. In fact, were there any Yogs in this? I mean, that's our friend who's burying his old compatriot. I kind of was under the assumption maybe there'd be more Yogs around here.
Oh shit, the jackass one with their gluing pubes to the guy's
Yeah.
face.
Yeah, I think that's the second time he's put that. One
It
when I
might be,
first
yeah.
did it.
Sorry, Justin, you said that the Yog friend's
No,
bearing his
I
compatriot.
just thought. Yeah, so I thought maybe there'd be more Yogs around this general area.
Well, they came back with you then? There's only 2? What happened to the rest of them?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't remember. That was days ago.
All right. I mean, as long as they're nice. I mean,
No,
Helgrid
they're
wouldn't.
friendly enough.
Yeah, Helgrid wouldn't let them stay, but I would have voted otherwise if it was up to me. They've always been nice to us. So,
All right.
all right. Well, we'll keep an eye out for them. Hard to miss a Yog anyway.
If we have time to, I would also take a short rest. I don't know if we'll have time based off what's going to happen though.
So it's going to take. I'll go ahead and we're going to jump back over to Sarah and Norok here in just a moment. I'll tell Sarah and Norok that it will take potentially hours to dig through rubble. So especially with the exhaustion levels you're already at, I mean your success rate is going to be pretty low. You're more than welcome to roll for it. Just keep that in mind that it's going to be hard and getting harder as you're out in the cold because you're going to be rolling for the cold levels here too. It's lower because you guys are further down the mountain again. You're not up as high, so it won't be 28s that you have to beat anymore, but it'll still be pretty high.
Arteme is gonna go look for, to try and at least thaw out the faces.
Okay.
I have a spell called Conjure Minor Elementals. If I do fire elementals, can I get them to not hurt people but help me with the same task of just
Show me
unthawing the face?
Yeah, click the spell.
Show me the spell, and then the thing is really going to be if you can communicate with them. So go ahead and show me the spell. Let's see, and I'm going to look at your maybe Druidic is specifically the intangible. It's not the spoken word. Yeah, go ahead and click the spell. Let's see what it says. Let's see if how well you'll be able to communicate with them. Don't consume the spell slot yet, but.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to do it from the pop out, but it was popping up for the consume spell slot, but it was just disappearing right away, so I had to pop my thing back in.
Weird.
You should just
It might need
conjure
an update.
Yeah, I might need an update.
4 of them.
Let's see. They obey any verbal commands that you issue to them. No action required, and they are friendly. Yeah, I would say that you could. Yeah, I would say that's fair. That you could give them the instruction that you're asking for them not to attack, and they are friendly, so they would follow. Your simple request of kind of melt a little bit. So yeah, I would say that you could use probably the magma methods.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to summon 8 of them to help me out. So each of them are going to find people and just thaw out the faces at the very least, so that way there when the other people come out, they could just identify the people.
Okay. All right, so that's going to take you some time to kind of go block by block. I'm saying 10 town blocks, not ice blocks, although that too. But kind of go, town block by block, kind of thawing out all the people that you can find. So you're just going to do that for the next couple of hours then?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Since you had a rest, it's not going to be as exhausting on you to do so. I'll go ahead and tell you that over the duration of this, anyone that was already frozen, you don't find them alive. You don't find them in a shape that could be brought back with basic healing, is how I'll put that.
Yeah.
So I mean, they are deceased. With the proper components and time, you could potentially resurrect them. But it would take those things.
I'm pretty sure
which would be a
that
lot of
I
diamonds.
wouldn't even be able to with the would say
You
just
have-
force and the greater restoration. I probably wouldn't be able to either.
No, that won't bring them back to life. Yeah. If you had, I think it's Revivify is the I think it's Revivify. I could be wrong. Is the cheapest version of Resurrect, and you could potentially upcast that, but it would still be, you're past
Don't
the
you
time. I
have
think
some spell where you can bring someone back, but they might just be a different thing?
that's resurrected. She absolutely does.
Yeah.
I don't think she has it prepared, but she does.
It's
have
not
that,
prepared. I'd have to take a long rest to change it out. Oh, it's called reincarnate.
Yeah,
And
reincarnate. Sorry. Yeah.
How long do you have to do reincarnate?
100 years or something? It's something obvious.
Oh,
It's something
dude,
crazy high.
let's bring this fucking town back.
Just one
Bring
by
them
one
all
each day.
back
Here,
as
that's
a
the
mixed
reincarnate.
race. Yeah, it's just gonna be a happy. What'd you call them? Mixed breed town. Of all sorts of different things.
Oh man! Shit. I still have water in the wrong pipe. I'm still
We're
fucking
gonna-
trying not to cough.
We're gonna
from
have
it.
to. We're gonna have to maybe take a couple rests, and then
Oh,
maybe
it's
we can
10
bring
days.
people
Okay,
back
no
in
longer than 10
shifts.
days. So it's not. I mean,
And it requires rare oils.
And it takes an
probably
hour to cast.
costs.
1,000 gold.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, so we
so-
need 1,000 gold and
Per
rare
person.
oil. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
never mind. By the
and-
way,
and 10 days means that you could get, if you had all the stuff, you could do one per hour for, however many
So
times you can cast it per
expensive,
day.
yeah.
So it'd be crazy expensive.
There was actually a bunch of spells that I wanted to get, but the 1,000 gold there was one that was for the conjuration ones, but they cost 500 gold for some of them. It was fuck that.
Yeah, every time you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So our Arteme then is going through and kind of at least making the frozen people identifiable as much as she can with the help of these floating little imps, little magma imps that are flying around with her. Nazim and Pogo, are you guys just kind of keeping
I'm
warm?
taking a
taking
short rest. Yeah, I'm gonna take a short rest.
Yeah, resting up.
Okay. All right. Both of you guys go ahead and apply your short rest.
I'm gonna
And,
roll a bunch of these.
Yeah, you guys can roll your hit dice, whatever you want to do. So jumping over to Norok and Sarah.
I have an idea.
Okay.
If she's realizing this is going to take forever,
Mhm.
she is going to repolymorph.
Okay.
And she is going to be a mouse to crawl through the debris and rubble to see if there's even bodies in here.
Okay. I'll tell you that's certainly possible, but you do have the trouble of there being snow, packed in snow, that isn't easily tunnelable to little mouse hands. But
There's
with
mice in the Arctic that burrow. Could I be one
they're
of
not
those?
mice, then there's gonna be another name
No,
to them. They're not an
it's a-
Arctic mouse. Give me
I
a
mean,
name.
you could do
It's
an
a
Arctic
mouse.
fox. You could probably do a fox.
Yeah,
Fox
but
burrow.
fox might be too big to get through all the rubble. No, there is.
There
a
are
mouse up
burrowing
there.
Arctic frozen. No, hang on.
Or maybe it's a
Tundra
mole.
mice. Tundra mice. Well, yeah,
Maybe.
that's what I'm saying. There's other rodents that do that for
I-
sure.
I thought it
But
was. a
there
mouse.
is an Arctic mouse. There's a I don't know if they actually burrow or not, but it doesn't matter. We'll say that there is some rodent mole-like, let's say, probably less mouse-like and more mole-like most likely. But maybe there is just a regular Arctic mouse that does burrow through snow. Either way, I'll say that you are able to get through it. It's just it's still especially at the size of a mouse, still going to take a while to get through to try to find things. Here's the trouble. As a mouse, even if you do locate something, how are you going to communicate to Norok or whatever to kind of help dig towards this direction?
I want to find. If I find a body, then I will find the shortest path out,
Mhm.
so that way I can then unpolymorph myself and be like, okay,
Gotcha.
go
Okay.
through here, and this is where they are,
Okay. All right.
or just be like, there's no.
For the sake of brevity, go ahead and give me We'll call it some investigation checks, and we'll do one per half hour of digging, let's say, and we'll say that you spend at least a couple hours at this point of digging, because that's how long that Artemis is on the other side of things here. So, so go ahead and give me one. We'll start, one after another. So go ahead and give me one investigation check. Minus your. Very
Oh
exhaustion.
God.
All right,
-1.
so for a -1, you dig straight back through this, kind of just like a burrowed straight hole through what would be roof debris, essentially, once you get through the snow, down through the roof portion that Norak has already pulled away for you. While you and the gorilla form or ape form, go ahead and roll another one.
Oh my God.
This is not looking good so far.
At
Norak,
least
it
this is
isn't.
a 1.
It is an hour in so far since Sarah turned herself into a mouse and started digging through this. What were you doing for that hour?
Shit.
With you and the boy here who you don't know the name of, despite it being on the screen?
Probably digging in the same general area that I saw the mouse go to. Did I see where Sarah burrowed into?
Yeah.
Okay, then kind of just digging in that general area.
Okay.
Just being careful, obviously, so I don't smash her little self with my giant hand.
I have to recast polymorph.
Okay.
Last an hour.
Yeah. While you're digging there, the boy comes over, kind of doing his best he can to grab, some of the debris. He's certainly stronger than you'd expect a boy of his size to be, but he's still a kid, and is kind of breaking off bits that you've kind of pushed to the side so that he can snap off enough of it that he can still carry it, and carries it outside. And then he's just kind of building this pile of debris outside as he goes on. Who are you guys? Why are you even here?
We were actually on our way to go bury a family member of mine and saw some trouble over here. So we just wanted to come see if we could help. See if anybody was still alive.
Were you with the Antaros? Did you come with them?
They were heading this way too, but I wasn't with them. I am of their tribe, yes, but I was not with the group that was heading this way.
Well, they were here.
You saw them?
Yeah, they were here.
Okay, and they already left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a week ago. Sig wouldn't let me. She wouldn't let me go outside while they were here. She said she made me stay in my room and told me to stay away from the window. But I could hear Telly and Bricka and Floaty and the other kids. They were still outside getting to see the giants, and Sig was just being mean, not letting me. So I peeked out the window anyway, and they just looked like you.
Well, there you go. You get to see what you were looking for. Do you recognize that you and I look kind of similar? Like you realize that you are one of my people, right?
His mouth tightens. His mouth tightens again, kind of similar to what you saw previously.
Because you realize that you're a lot bigger than the other kids your age, right? And stronger?
He turns and starts grabbing more debris, walks back outside.
All right. I'll carry on. Go with it.
Go ahead and roll your third one, Becky.
Okay. Can I use my super sensitive mouse nose to smell for dead flesh?
Okay, sure. I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll
I'm trying to give myself the best chance here.
Yeah, that's fine. I will say that you could use your perception instead of your investigation if you want to.
Oh. No, we'll stick with investigation. At least investigation has something. Perception is 0.
Okay, all right. Well, in that case, then
For
you can
me,
use
I don't
investigation.
know what a mouse would be, so.
Oh, that's true. You should be using the mouse's senses. So you should have this. You should be using the stats for a mouse here. So let me find the stats for a mouse. Let's see.
If that perception is amazing, then absolutely.
Well, I imagine it would be because they probably have advantage on keen smell. Yeah, rat has advantage on. Well, rat. There was no mouse. I'd use rat. Has advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on smell. And their modifier is a +0, so it is advantage. Yeah, but it's
well,
+0.
mine is a +0, so I'll just roll mine with advantage.
Sure, go ahead. All right.
Oh no.
Yeah, minus your D6,
D8. God. Damn.
You just for a brief moment you feel like you kind of sensed it, but you were still digging. You're not sure what direction it was coming from.
Okay, well, I still got another half hour of this, and I can do it. I think like 2 more times.
The boy, when he comes back in, he says, "The Antaros, when they came, though, they weren't allowed to stay. Do you know why? Why she wouldn't let them stay?" Are your people mean? Did you come here to hurt people?
No, not at all.
A lot of people here think your people are mean.
We're not exactly as polite as some other people, but we're definitely not mean though. We're well intentioned.
Well, the wisdom she started yelling at them and made them leave, and they seemed nice, but she didn't like them. You seem nice. I don't know why you're helping here, but she was yelling and Sig wouldn't let me see them, and he's kind of starts kind of mumbling and rambling on a little bit.
Right. They don't want you to see them. They probably didn't want you to know that you were part Antares, that you're part Yogg, like me. That's what our race is called. We're called Yoggs, but my tribe is called the Antares. Our tribe is called the Antares.
He turns away and starts gathering more debris and taking it back outside.
But
I'll go ahead. I'll tell it to you that this will be below your passive, that you recognize that it's going to make him mad. Like it's he's not accepting that at all. Sarah, go ahead. The search continues. You're trying to dig through snow and smell stuff. Oh, no.
Come on.
Wait, that was advantage. All right, 14. Okay.
Yeah.
Well enough that you feel like it's this direction. Like you figured out the direction, but the way for you to get there means you're going to have to go through the debris that's there, and then through the first I guess closer part of the roof that is closer to you, and then through the other half of it and all the snow in between. Like it's got to be far enough. Like the smell's coming from far enough away that you, in your normal halfling form, realize that that's probably about 20 feet back, and the whole roof is between you and that 20 feet.
All right, well, if I have a general direction, I am working my way back out, and then I'm going to drop my polymorph and be like, all right, guys, it is that way.
Before you say anything,
Oh.
the scent is distinct, and it's death. It's dead that you smell.
I assumed if they were buried under rubble and I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Is he still in here? Or is he taking stuff out?
He's going in and out. Yeah, he's regular. Basically, Norok is pulling shit off, and he comes up to it and kind of breaks it in small enough pieces that it'll fit through the door, and then he can carry it, and then he carries it out. So he's in there more than he's out, but he is going back and forth.
Right. I'm gonna just kind of look at Norok and then wait for him to come back in and be like, okay, let's take like a 5-minute break. And then once we all sit down, just be like, okay, there is someone buried underneath the rubble about 20 feet back, but they are no longer with us. So what do you want to do?
He kind of hangs his head, and he's sitting down, in a kind of the corner on some bits of rubble there, and kind of elbows on his knees, and he's just kind of twiddling his fingers together and not saying anything. And he kind of looks down at his hands and doesn't talk.
I think, if it's all right with you, kid. By the way, my name is Serafina. I don't know what your name is. But if it's okay with you, I think we should maybe meet up with the rest of our friends. See if they found anybody else who's alive around here. Get some rest. Come back in the morning. Or evening, depending on when it is that we fall asleep. And then dig them out and give them a proper burial. Does that sound okay with you?
He's silent for a long time, and then just like you've seen this nod a few times now. It's just the subtlest half-inch one down and back up nod. Not looking up. He's still just staring at his hands.
Do you like birds?
No response.
I'm just gonna
flip them off. Just straight flip them off.
That's what Fox is basically doing.
I'm gonna...
You little mixed breed.
Little mixed breed. Fuck you.
I'm gonna snap my fingers and bring Noctua into existence and have her go kind of sit on his shoulder and just like nuzzle his head. By the way, compared to this kid, she's probably super fucking tiny because she is already a small owl.
Okay, I was gonna say owls are pretty big, like in general.
No,
obviously,
I had
there
wanted
are
her to
smaller
be
breeds of
small.
owls. They're not all really big. There's like tiny owls.
the
Yeah,
average
no, I
owl,
had
if you just say owl, nobody assumes that you mean a tiny one, unless
no,
you're,
I had
you know.
intended her to be tiny because Sarah's tiny.
Okay, that's fair. So that doesn't, so she doesn't sit on your shoulder and knock you off the broom just from being imbalanced.
Exactly. So like she'll sit on my shoulder and she like maybe is like the entire height of my head, maybe.
Sure.
So on him,
Okay.
she's like extra tiny.
Okay. He doesn't respond, and as Noctua is trying to kind of nuzzle at his, at his ear inside of his head, he kind of very slowly lifts one hand up and kind of just pats it, but mostly. It's clear to both of you that are watching that this is a child, and a child's gestures are often not subtle. Like they're usually a lot more overt, even if they don't necessarily intend them to be. And it's obvious to you that he's not petting the bird. He's trying to get the bird to stop. He just doesn't want to be mean about it. He's just trying to get it to leave him alone.
I'll
So.
have her stop.
Sure.
So I will explain to him what we heard from Pogo about where it was and ask him if he knows where that might be.
It's in slugs. It's a smithy.
Would you mind showing us the way?
He stands up, head still down, does not raise his head. He never looks back up at you again. Like his head is still down, and kind of clumsily walks towards the door and opens it and heads outside.
All right, while we're walking, I'm just going to send Noctua up to just kind of like do a huge circle around us and just keep an eye out for any kind of movement.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Pietro's still flying around with his orders to, if something comes towards us in the town, to like
Sure.
get its attention and fly away with it until it gets burned up.
Sure. About probably 15 minutes or so into you guys, basically after the situation had been settled with the group there at the smithy, with Halder and Inslog. Pardon me. Shok has arrived from the outside, and he doesn't knock on the door or anything. He just kind of very carefully walks up to the steps and then stands beside the door. He doesn't come inside. So he's standing nearby. Norok and Sarah, then if you're just following the boy, he didn't give you his name, by the way. You introduced yourself, but he didn't give you his name, and he didn't ask for Norok's name either. That definitely looks tiny, but that could be an 800 foot tall tree in the background. That could be Godzilla we're looking at, Fox. You need a banana for scale.
No, there's a
no,
tiny
that's the
African.
elf owl. It's the smallest owl in the world.
Yeah, that was actually what I based Noctua
It's
on.
about the size of a sparrow or something.
Oh yeah,
A really small bird.
that's cool. Does it still sleep on its face like a dummy?
Yeah, it just falls over.
Yep.
My heads are too heavy.
You following the boy though, down a couple of blocks. It takes you, 10 minutes to get there. It's not a huge town, but walking through the snow, especially, and he's not moving quickly at this point. He takes you, towards the smithy that you guys can just see the barest traps of smoke coming off. By the way, now the sun is up. Like it's we'll call it 8:30 a.m. or so at this point. So it's easier to see around. There you go. Yeah, banana for scale. That's like a tiny banana. Anyways, he kind of leads you towards what is clearly a smithy based on the architecture on the outside. And you see Shok standing on the doorstep there. Shok, seeing you following this boy, looks at Ben. He looks directly at you and kind of down at the kid, and then back up at you. You're following behind, so the boy can't see your gestures or your features, but it's quite clear what that look means from Shok. Do you react at all?
I'm just gonna nod and look at him like, not say anything, so I'm sure he'll get to a point to not say anything quite yet.
Yeah, Norok.
I know what he's saying, but I'm just not responding on purpose, obviously. Not
Yeah,
out loud.
okay, that's fair. Norok probably doesn't know Shok's status at the moment. He's in very bad shape, is how I'll put that. And Norok would, physically see that, but not necessarily that Shok is not able to speak.
Okay.
The nod, the look may have just been specifically that. It may have been intended to be subtle. Anyway, you arrive at the smithy though, and the boy kind of steps up beside, and he kind of looks, sideways up at Shok, and then back down, looks at the doorknob and turns it and steps inside. Who are you? Are you friends with them? And he kind of gestures with his thumb back out the door at Sarah and Norak, who are approaching.
Yeah, he's one of our people.
No,
just,
he steps inside where Pogo and Nazim are. Artemis still out melting people right now, but Pogo and Nazim in the room there. Are you guys friends with them?
Yep, these are our friends.
They're quiet.
Yeah, well, we're all a little quiet right now.
Taco, Justin, are you guys awake?
I'm like fucking. I'm.
It's a short rest. It's not a nap.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, I guess, but.
All right. Trying to figure it out. Yeah, I'll be quiet right now, and I'll just let them know that these are our friends, and they don't mean any harm, and I don't know who that extremely large child is.
Yeah, that's him
Possibly.
that's asking. He's the one that just asked. He walked
Oh
in the
no,
door.
like I'm telling the other people in the place. Like,
oh, gotcha.
So, like,
They went to the back.
beforehand.
They when they told you they were going to go rest. They went to the back room where the forge is.
Well, no, nice. Hi, my name's Pogo, and this is Nazim, and I think Fox is still gone trying to do something else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still
Yeah.
melting people or thawing.
Yeah, Artemis. Just melting
He
people.
said when you say I'm Pogo. This is Nazim.
I'm
He says,
just gonna look up at Nora and be like, "So I see you found someone alive. Anyone else out there?"
Unfortunately, no.
Mm.
We
And
found
then I'm
some
gonna.
dead ones, but
the boy walks over and sits down, like drops all of his weight into a chair all in a single motion.
So, well, we can hold up here for a while. We can. I think we need to find a place to rest. We might at least get a day or so out of this spot without having to worry about that dragon attacking. We could do what we can in the meantime. Find as many bodies as we can. But
I kind of promised him we'd help dig out his. I just kind of glanced over him. Parents? I'm assuming.
do we know where they are?
Yep, we found him in the housing part of like a stable. The roof caved in.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. All
He
right.
kind of shrugs awkwardly.
All right. Well, what time is it? It's probably like noonish, midday, a little
No,
after.
it's 8:30
In the
morning.
morning still?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fuck.
you've been they dug for 2 hours. You've been here for
All right.
2.5 at this point.
At least the sun's up. It's not quite as cold as it was. All right. And boy, what was your name?
Avar.
Avar. And you definitely we need to do that for your parents, right? We need to dig them out before we can get you out of here.
They're not my parents. I don't have any parents.
That's convenient.
I mean, everybody has parents. You just may not necessarily know who they are yet. I mean, you can find them someday.
They told me
How
that
would you-
she died before I was born.
Oh,
Well, what about your dad? I mean, if your mom's dead, maybe she didn't say anything about your dad. Maybe your dad's still out there.
He's probably dead too. They're all dead.
I mean, you don't know that.
He starts kicking his feet. Like his feet don't touch the floor, and he's kind of kicking them back and forth. He's
Well,
clearly
you know-
Norak. You can easily read. He's like very anxious. He's like boiling up, anxious.
You know, you may not want to do this, but I have an amazing dad back at this keep, and if you have nowhere else to go, I am sure he would.
Yours
be
is dead. You want to
extremely-
borrow mine?
That's not what I meant. I meant like he loves kids. Like he's my dad. He's a great person. I am sure he would love to help you out in the meantime until you find your dad. At least give you some place to go in the meantime.
He doesn't say anything. He looks at Norak. You came inside, right? You walked into the building.
yeah.
Okay. The roof in the ceiling in here is high. It's conical, I guess you'd describe. There's probably an architectural term for it that I don't know. Basically, the roof slopes upward up to like a smokestack, like a chimney, and so there's plenty of room. You can actually stand up straight. And this is the only building in town so far that you've been able to stand up straight in. But he looks over at you, and he's not. How do I say this? He's not. He's trying to not be rude, but he's basically ignoring what Sarah's saying, and looks at you to change the subject. He says the lady at the office back there, the one that couldn't talk. Did you know her? You asked about her like you knew her.
Yeah, she was actually an old friend of mine. I used to know her a long time ago when I still lived up here with the tribes people. And then I ran into her again recently. She wasn't in the best shape though. And then I lost track of her and apparently she came back here.
Rock.
You mean because she couldn't talk?
Yeah, some people hurt her pretty bad.
Yeah, that was the impression that I got too.
Well, I
Sig
think
used to make me go see her all the time because she always wanted her to poke and prod at me, and Sig said it was just to make sure that I was healthy and growing right. But she was never mean though. She was always nice to me, and she used to give me candies. And she looked for scary, but not like for real scary. She just couldn't talk.
No, she was a really nice lady. She actually knew your mom.
Immediately shuts right back down again. Staring back down to his hands, his kicking stops.
Do we?
You guys know who that was, right? Does everybody understand who that was?
Yeah,
The
do
corpse
we
that they
pick
saw?
up that it's Sorsha?
Yeah.
I would say that the context clues of what Norok just said of how he responded to the boy, you probably piece together that they found Sorsha's corpse there. Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't know what was going. I feel like I do, but I feel like Pogo wouldn't really know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know because Pogo wasn't really
Pogo,
around too
yeah.
much with Sorsha. Yeah, it's like so she does. Justin,
I'm just kind of
you
rolling
know
my.
who's,
I'm
like,
just
do you
kind of.
remember who
I'm
she
just
is?
kind of rolling my eyes like, oh fucking, let's just do something.
Well, no, didn't we find Sorsha after Pogo joined us?
Was
Some
I was
girl
going-
that couldn't
I was
speak.
going back through my notes. Yeah,
it might
to
have
try to
been.
find
So
it.
yeah, so
Because I think it
Sorsha.
was on the
she was
way
one of the
back
Albashar.
through after
Well,
we
it was
spoke.
when you were back inside Dunskathak, before the Crow Fort had been raised up, and the Vabians had surrounded it with the Albashar, with the cannibal peasants. Remember?
Are you talking about the stinky lady
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that can
That's her.
talk?
Yeah.
Oh, and
that's
she's
her.
she's the one that's dead behind the counter.
Yes. That is
How the
so
fuck
that
did she
this
get
whole
here?
time. Okay, so that's okay. So I get that then. And Justin didn't get that the whole time that Norok has been having those dreams. That's who he's been seeing, is that woman. Except before, when she was still normal, basically.
Yeah, but now she's here and dead behind the counter.
Well, this is where she was from. She came back once she escaped, and basically when she was safe with you guys, and Norok didn't chain her up or anything like that. She eventually escaped and got out and came back to her home. This is where she's from. That was her business. That was her job.
I'm just surprised she was able to get this fucking far.
I mean, that was also months ago. Well, no, not months ago. It's been a month and a half, something like that.
I haven't seen her, so I probably would have. Well, I'll say Pogo has an inkling. Justin now knows, but
Yeah.
Pogo has an inkling.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway,
right.
so that's who that was. That's who the boy was asking Avar. Now that you know his name, that's who he was asking about.
So I think what we need to do is we need to find out if there's anyone else alive in this town, and we need to do what we can to get these people, including Avar, somewhere safe. And I feel like we could get them to the Crow Fort, at least in the meantime. The Crow Fort, I'm going to talk to Avar directly. Just so you know, the Crow Fort is a nice place. We'll get you some hot meals, some mead. And I understand this is a hard time for you, and I apologize for everything you're going through, but you're a young lad and you have a lot of life in front of you. You're going to enjoy things. You'll have heartbreak, but it will continue on. Trust me,
not until I kill that beast, the one that did this. I'm not going anywhere.
Well,
until that's done.
what if I make a deal with you? What if we kill this beast? We'll go ahead and take care of killing this beast for you.
You're welcome to help. I would definitely like to help.
Sarah's just looking at Pogo like, "What the
All right.
fuck are you saying?"
No, it's fine. Don't worry. Listen, don't worry. We'll get it taken care of. For right now, do you need us to find you the people who raised you and give them a burial, or no?
The vitriol that you saw for a moment there, the kind of rage building up that you've seen. I will tell you that it's a pretty familiar sight because you guys see that same rage in Norok pretty often.
Who's got some wine? Does anyone have some wine for this
well,
boy?
it's a 10-year-old
kid.
But
Give him some wine.
He's
been through something.
When you mentioned the people that were taking care of him, he kind of, his eyes begin to well up again a little bit, and he kind of looks back down at his hands.
All right. Is there anything from, we're going to go ahead and find them. I noticed sometimes in life it's good to hold on to something from them. Is there anything that we could get from them to bring back to you that maybe after we bury them or take care of it that that you might want to hold on to? Any rings or anything that you might want to, hold on, remembrances, picture frames?
It's
good to remember.
He nods and shrugs at the same time. He kind of just that same little curt nod, but kind of shrugs up a little bit.
I'm gonna ask if Norok and Norok, can you and Sarah, can we go back to where the people are? Are you gonna be okay here for a few minutes, Avar? I promise we'll get the dragon taken care of, but we need to break here for just a few minutes. You need to. Actually, Norok, why don't you keep an eye on him, and me and Sarah will go take a look. No offense, young man, but your ideals are fine, but we just need to do this smart, and we might actually get it taken care of if we do it the right way. So your heart's in the right place, but we need to get our minds straight before we continue, okay? And Sarah, would you mind showing me where this building is, as his parent or the people who raised him are located?
Yeah, no problem.
So as soon as we are out of earshot, all right, so we're going to bring him back to the fucking keep.
Yeah, we can't just leave
against him,
kid here.
Even if he doesn't want to. No, we'll take him.
By the way, thanks for taking care of that conversation. I have no idea what to do with fucking kids. And I apparently fucked some shit up when I said, we hadn't found anybody alive and assumed everyone was dead, and it freaked him out, and I didn't know what to do.
I mean, if we're being honest, he probably has an inkling that, look around, this place is a hell. This place is beyond repair. We're talking.
You didn't see the look on his face, though.
Honestly, I was looking at the size of his fucking fists. What the hell is that thing?
For sure, the kid could take you in a fight, Pogo.
Just hands, just nothing but just hands, fist fight. Yeah.
By this time, Arteme, you approaching back to the smithy here, you see Sarah and Pogo standing outside, talking very animatedly and very rapidly.
Okay, I'm just gonna wave at them and go in and find a nice, quiet spot to kind of rest a bit.
Okay.
So
yeah, we're walking and talking.
Okay.
So Sarah, what we're gonna do is we are going to. I think what we need to do is you didn't hear, but the people who own that building, they aren't gonna leave until he finds a couple people they were with, probably deceased. But if we can find him, maybe using a spell to find him or something, then we can get them out of here, and we might be able to, when we get them out of here, when we go to send them to the keep, we're just going to go ahead and do whatever steps necessary there to get Avar there. We're not going to let him stay in the. I can't think we'll let him stay in this situation.
Okay, but
so
sending them into a keep that's in a war zone isn't much better than here facing a dragon.
Yeah, but I mean, it's at least
he can't
safer.
Get from there to the dragon.
Well, Arteme is inside, and you guys
are
on the street. So.
I mean, I took my dad there. At least Sarah assumes it's more safe than here.
I think we had a timeline where they're on a hopeful ceasefire for a bit of time, and also Ozzy can still talk to us.
Well, hang on. Let me clarify something for you real quick.
Yeah.
That. There was a short while of about a week or so where hostilities essentially ceased altogether. The last time you guys spoke, the Vabians had started minor skirmish, and hostilities are definitely increasing again, specifically, as Pepperjack has told you and Ozzy, specifically because the sheaf of scales that the Vabians believe that the Empire has. You guys remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
From the Gates of Devadum, the relic, the bit of this of the corpse, they don't believe that the Empire doesn't have it and won't turn it over. So every time they try to have their little summits, their little peace talks, they're falling apart immediately because they show up, the Empire says we don't have it, the Vabians turn around and leave, and then attack overnight. So that cease, that temporary peace is fading very fast.
But at least
It's
if he's
escalating
at the
again.
keep, he can transport him somewhere using the teleportation circle that isn't here with a dragon.
Basically, I'm gonna be honest. I don't feel like dealing with this boy. I just can't. We can't. We got to do it. We're not gonna be able to fight this thing. Now, with just us using our wits and using some of our skills, we can probably get what needs to get done finished. But this boy, he's gonna be a burden. We got to at least send him somewhere in the meantime to where he won't be. I don't want to have to try to keep an eye on him while we're trying to rest, and he's going to go try to shoot a bloody bow and arrow at some 40-foot monstrosity.
Bigger than
that's
40 feet.
Gotta be careful.
Whatever that dragon's, the
Well,
one that destroyed this town. I mean,
Yeah.
how old do you think he is? Like 17? 30? Motherfucker,
he looks
motherfucker,
like-
you're at least 30.
He looks like
Get out the
10.
way. Ludicrous looking motherfucker.
He's
With all
still
that
a
forehead.
kid. But if we send him to the keep, at least my dad can keep an eye on him, and if need be, if something happens,
He could give your
then they
dad
can-
like little shoulder rides around the keep and stuff. It'll be funny.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
It's because he's
but at
small
least-
and that kid's massive.
Yeah, at least Ozzy could teleport them out somewhere together then,
Yeah.
and somewhere that's safer.
We can let Ozzy know what we're doing, and it might not. Yeah, we'll figure it out. If we have to cast some sort of spell, or if I have to make a suggestion to him to stand inside the portal, whatever, we'll get it handled. And when we get to the place, I'm gonna have. I would like if Seraphina could tell me kind of where they are, and I'm gonna use my 5th level animate objects to
20 feet back in that corner.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 5th level animate objects to basically take alive like all
Animate
the
house, like animate roof.
animate all of the like large pieces of rubble around it. And let's see, it only lasts for 1 minute.
Yeah, but you can't just do object after object, right?
Nope. It's
Do
just so it's
10
I'm
magical
gonna do,
or non-magical objects. Okay, so you could do.
So it's going to
Fantasia?
be for I'm gonna say large items. I think I get 2 large items, or is it 4? It's a dumb amount.
It's fine. I'll say that,
Anyways,
that over the time.
Basically,
I mean,
I'm going to
you-
use those to like move the snow away and like push out, because
Okay.
like 6 actions for them to like just attack and like clear out whatever space I'm trying to clear out so we can get to the body.
I also have 2 more polymorphs, so I can polymorph and help.
Between the two of you, I'll say that you are able to clear your way, clear the way rather to the first body that you find is a male, and definitely there's no way he could have survived. He's crushed to bits. But I mean, you do find the first body, and then by then you can kind of just tell based on the layout of this room where the corner would be, where the bed would be, and when you clearing the rest of the way there, you find a female that is crushed under the bed.
And then I'm going to see if I can search the bodies for anything search the bodies and the area around the debris to see if there's anything of possibly value of importance that could give to Avar as something to remember them by.
The woman was wearing a ring. It's kind of difficult to take it out, to take it out of what's left of the body there. She had a golden ring that she was wearing, and the man had a solid steel, like a heavy, difficult for you to kind of pick up, kind of heavy bracer. That wasn't crushed in the rubble, like very strong metal. It seems, it should have probably been smashed if it was just steel, because it's a cylinder, and it wasn't smashed. It's still in shape, in the form that it's supposed to be.
I will use prestidigitation on the walk back to make sure that they are both completely spotless.
Okay.
So there's no blood or nastiness on them.
Okay. All right, then, as you guys are doing all of this, we'll jump back over real quick for Norok and Nazim and Arteme. What's Nazim been doing during this time?
I'm just kind of soaking it all in, kind of seeing what's going on. focusing more on resting up for everyone and getting everyone prepared for what we're going to have to do.
After Pogo and Sarah leave, a minute or so goes by, and Arteme comes in and kind of settles into the corner where she's trying to warm herself up, and he kind of watches her walk by and sits down, and he's just sitting there quietly for a minute. He looks over at you and he says, "What's with your face? What happened?
What's with your face?"
Good comeback.
I was trying to shoot a bird and it came down and attacked me, but like, is that what happened with yours? Did a bird pull your face down or something?
The biggest bird you have ever imagined.
Like the dragon?
Something like that.
And it pulled your face off like that?
Just like that. Any other questions, boy?
He like kind of looks back down at his hands. No. And he kind of looks back over at you like awkwardly, like he's not really sure, like if he offended you or something, but he doesn't understand why you're being rude to him. He didn't intend it to sound rude. He's just a kid,
I'll grab a cup of tea and just hand it to him as a peace offering.
He kind of sips at it. Did you see he looks over at Arteme. Did you see the bird that he's talking about?
Nope, that was before I met him.
Must have been a big bird.
The biggest.
You guys are quiet.
I'm gonna pull out a book and just start reading in pet's eye.
Oh, this poor kid.
I'm gonna awkwardly pull out the leather swatches and just thumb through them like a deck of cards.
Shuffling your leather squares.
Though I will look up at the kid and see if he's hungry, and then give him some of the food I have.
There's like instantly, like the kind of face that you would guess he probably didn't even realize how hungry he was until you pulled out food. And he kind of leaps down off of the chair and scurries over and grabs a bit of jerky or whatever rations as you're handing him. Thank you. I haven't eaten since yesterday. I think it was yesterday.
Oh, tomorrow I'll go see if I can hunt some stuff down fresh food.
I can hunt.
You're free to come with if you want.
Arner taught me how to use my bow last summer. He said I even did so good that I can go with him on the hunt this year.
You guys ever hear those news stories where the kids accidentally shoot their moms with guns? I'm just wondering.
He says, in Sig, she showed me how to harvest deer and elk too. And this one time, I even got stung by, and he starts getting excited. I even got stung by a blickworm, and she let me watch how to take the stinger out, and she said I was brave.
I could show you how to track.
His eyes are like glowing. He's clearly very excited by that. You guys are quiet. All right.
Are we back yet? Yeah. When do we get back?
Yeah.
The Pogo and Sarah make your way back. You can step in the door and it's clear that it's been quiet probably the whole time. There's like an awkward silence where Arteme is like pretending to read a book and ignoring this kid, and the kid is clearly like, not looking for attention. How do I say this? Like basically just trying to break the awkwardness if he can, and he doesn't know how.
Oh, I'm gonna pass the book, A Treatise of Flora, to the kid to see if he wants to read. Well, I read one of the medical book.
What language is that book in? If it doesn't say, it's just Vindian.
It doesn't say. It's a treatise of the flora of the Babian domain, but it doesn't say.
All right. Do you remember where you found it? If it doesn't say, if I didn't put a language in there, it's probably Vindian.
Somewhere in Babi?
No,
Where?
I think it was in the keep in the library.
Okay. That would
That's
be
where we got
Vindian,
all
then.
of our
That's fine.
books, I think.
Okay.
No, because I have the history of kings of old, and then how to
that one's for sure an old Vabian, and you found that one in one
in
of the tombs
ruins.
you guys, one of the first places you guys went to when you first landed near Kafunamat.
This one also doesn't say what language.
Yeah, if it doesn't say, it's Vindian, so it's basically it's common. Vindian is common, so so you hand him the book. Then he kind of looks at it. It's about plants and flowers and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Will this be useful?
It could be useful if you're hunting and you're trying to find certain plants to help you, or know what plants certain animals eat to help track them.
Then I'll read it and I'll tell you what I find out.
Okay.
And then Pogo and Sarah, you guys walk in.
All right. Well, so Avar, we went ahead and did some work, and I think these are good for you to have. We went ahead and found them. So I'm sorry that your family is, passed away, but they probably would have wanted you to have this. The people that raised you. So go ahead and take these. And hand those over.
He kind of reaches out and grabs them. He doesn't seem to really have any difficulty in holding that bracer. It seems fine for him, although it was pretty heavy.
Much bigger than us.
But
No.
you hand it to him, and he kind of just nods solemnly and kind of holds them in his hand, just turning them over in his hand as he's looking down. After a few minutes, he kind of grabs a leather thong that he's got around his neck and strings the ring through it, and then puts it back over his neck.
All right, we still need to find the people that they're looking for. And
shit! Artem, I meant to tell you that. The descriptions that you got for Halder's kids that you were looking for, the boy, you didn't find, but you did find the house that he was describing. So it may have been under rubble, but it wasn't one of the blocks that you found out there.
Okay, if they come out back into, the main area we're in instead of the back room, I'll let him know once he does come out.
Okay.
And then we'll have to keep looking. We'll have to go look through the rubble and keep looking through the town.
Sure.
How much of the town did I get done?
Probably, we'll call it a quarter or so, that you feel like if you spent, if you're going to need a rest, and you'll probably have to take a couple breaks, thereafter, in the middle of doing this. But in a couple hours, you went through about a quarter of, the surface of the streets, essentially, right? Because the houses, those that you can get into, you did those as much as you can, but a lot of them are collapsed in, like what Sarah and Norok and Pogo went to. So you can't really, melt your way to anything there. You'd have to, clear rubble, essentially.
Okay. So I got about a quarter of the ones on the streets and outside?
Yeah. So after a rest, you feel like you could make it through the rest easily in, a good half of a day. If you take a couple of breaks throughout so that you don't get too cold. But yeah, I guess, if you're near the magma imps anyways when they're doing this, then you probably won't have to worry about the extreme cold.
Okay,
So
yeah,
probably
I'll definitely keep one or two around me and have the rest, around in a circle.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be too cold.
Yeah, I mean, even near enough to them that you're in the ambient heat is going to be enough to kind of, because again, this is not, you guys are low enough down the slope now that you're far enough away. You're not in the unnatural cold area right now. This is just the ambient of all the ice, and now that the sun's up, it's not so bad. So
okay, so yeah, after a bit of a rest, I'll go back out. I'll probably spend an hour reading and then go back out.
Okay, all right.
I'm also going to. Well, no, never mind. That wouldn't work. Forget it.
So what's the plan? Are we staying for a few days to help melt people and dig people out?
I think we're all here now, right? Everyone's here.
Yeah.
Are we all in a room?
Shok has come in now, by the way. He was
right.
out there for a while, but he has come in finally.
All right. So, I'm also going to grab Holdar or Holdat, whatever his name is. Listen. So we need to.
They're
we're all
sleeping.
here now. That's fucking 8 o'clock in the morning. So jealous.
Well, by now it's probably
all right.
9 o'clock. But yeah, they went back to go to sleep because they hadn't slept it all the entire night. Same as you guys, really. But
so this is what we're going to need to do. We need to find out. They're not going to leave until we find their children. We need to find their children and get them back to safety, and we'll figure out then, Avar, what we're going to do and see if we can go fight that dragon, and we'll do our best here and we'll get it figured out for you, okay? And I'm gonna kind of look at Sarah, nod. Does that sound good for everyone else? We can work on that. Take a night's sleep tonight, and tomorrow
get a good long rest.
Are they then going somewhere safe? The people in the back that
I mean,
Sarah
I
has
think
no
we just
idea who
need
is
to.
there. She's
I
never
think
met.
there's 3 of them, and I think we just need to get them back to Castle Keep for now, and then we can figure it out later. For right now, I mean, unless they think they can just leave, but I'm not sure that's going to be proper or safe for any of them. Don't know how far they're
Yeah.
going to get.
At least Kettle Keep is warm and has food.
I mean, at least that guy knows he can handle himself. Shit, maybe he can become a fighter there.
You talking
Knocked
about
me on
Avar?
my ass.
Oh, the big guy. I thought you were talking about the kid.
Avar too. Avar, Avar, have you ever thought about getting some training or, being like, we might be able to take care of that dragon too here, but maybe you can hone your skills a bit. We might know people that could help you out with that, at least in the meantime. I understand you're angry, but we need to do it smart if we're going to survive, so let's just make sure we're making the best choices that we can to make sure that that dragon dies and you survive, all right?
He nods.
Okay.
I can take care of myself. I know.
I'm sure you
I know
can.
how to do things. I can help with food. I can take care of animals. I can read about plants. I
Yeah, you
can
can.
carry things. I won't be a burden. I promise.
No, I understand. It's great. It's great what you're doing, and we appreciate it. All right.
Just don't leave me behind.
Yeah, we need to. We need to find those other bodies so that we can at least get these people out of here, because I don't think it's going to be safe for them to stay.
Yeah.
You guys all you all walk together. You all travel together.
When we can.
For a while now.
Some of us float.
On brooms. Or
Some
without.
of us also change into animals.
So, do we know? I feel. You know what? Do we know the where the kids last were? Like what house?
Arteme does. Well,
Right.
you were. I guess. Yeah, you were there. You know the basic description. Arteme went to
All right.
the area. Yes.
All right. Let's. Why don't we just go and find their probably deceased children, so that they can give them a burial.
Are you saying this
Or at
out
least-
loud?
I'm saying it to the group. Yeah, I'm saying it to the group. That's what they wanted. They wanted us to go find him, didn't they?
Yeah, but you just said that his friends are dead. You just said that in front of the
Oh.
kid. You're no better than they
Well,
are.
I've already.
We're terrible with
I
kids.
feel like I've already told them that this is not a great situation.
We're gonna go
see what we
find
can
his
do.
probably
We're gonna find
deceased
him.
friends.
At least I'm saying it in a solemn way. It's not like I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
All right, let's go fucking.
We'll go
let's
find the mixed breed's
those
friends.
dead bodies so we can throw them in a fucking hole. No, so let's go take care of what we need to take care of there, and at least get their minds right for what has to happen. Because we can't really take a long rest until the evening, right? Like we're kind of.
No. You guys didn't have
No,
a
we can't.
successful long rest. You can do
Alright.
it now. Yeah. If you had had a successful one, that'd be different. But because you didn't get to finish it, you could take a long rest now.
All right. In that case, is there anyone who still has the physical real ability? Because like Pogo, he has no real way of like helping this situation out to find those bodies.
I would say that anything you guys try to do now, not even just physical, but anything you guys try to do
Just-
right now is going to be
yeah.
like shot to shit because
I'm
Norok's
the
still
only
at
one who
4
could go
levels.
back out to try and thaw as many faces as I can so they could identify people. But it was kind of cold, even with close to the elementals. So I came back in for a break. Like I spent 2 hours thawing out people's faces. So I came in for a break, and then I'm going to go back out shortly.
All right, you can do that, but I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a long rest here, and I think I need to recoup.
I agree.
Is it warm enough in here, or do we need to make it more comfortable, or is this going to be a good enough spot?
There's so you guys are in the same building as the forge.
Yeah.
You're just not in the same room as the forge. So there's like this room is still plenty warm. It's
Alright.
more than comfortable enough. You can go
you
to the
guys
forge room if
also
you want
have
to. But
bedrolls and tents.
I
in the bag
don't,
of
but
holding.
someone does.
So
Yeah.
if you want a bedroll,
you still have yours, Fogo. You just turned it into a cloak temporarily.
Oh, that's right.
Your
that's
your
right.
tent part, yeah. But the bedrolls, yeah. Arteme made all that shit for you guys back at the Crow Fort a long time ago.
Yeah,
So you guys have plenty to keep yourselves warm.
I'm gonna lay down for a long rest. So, Avar, did you sleep at all last night?
He shakes his head.
Good
But
for you
I've
to
I've
take a rest as
had
well.
worse. I had to sleep outside a lot when I was little. I'll be fine.
I mean,
Maybe you should
I'm okay.
sleep in here.
still a good option.
Take a rest.
I just mean I'm strong. I'm okay.
Okay, I'll pass him my bedroll and ask Sai to stay with him to keep him warm.
You know, he would have been elated to see Sai this whole time. So if she's around and is willing to like let him pet her and stuff like that, he will be very happy by that.
Yeah, she'd be a bit cautious at first, but she would have like stayed with me while I was reading. But me leaving, she'd go over.
Okay. Yeah, he's very happy to cuddle with the little
good
fox
choice.
puppy. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take a long rest. Anyone else gonna join me for this long rest in the morning? I feel
I am.
Pogo feels pretty confident that this fucking dragon isn't gonna like loop immediately back to finish off like a few people that might have missed. I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, Sarah's also gonna try for a long rest, and she's going to keep Noctuit. So you said there were like beams on the top of the
Yeah.
ceiling?
So you know what a truss is? TRUSS.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Truss, right? Like a roof truss. It's the support beam. Yeah, support beam. Assembly of members such as beams connected by nodes. Yeah, it's the roof structure. It's what's holding the roof up.
Great. So I'm gonna send Noctua up there, and she is going to be keeping a very close eye on the kid to make sure he doesn't just take off while we're all sleeping to go kill a fucking dragon.
Okay. Okay. He settles in.
I'm glad someone did that, by the way. I didn't want to wreck con anything. I didn't want to be like, but I was
shit! Everybody wakes up and the boy's gone.
I was like looking through all my shit. I'm like, I got nothing. I got no like nothing that's gonna really help that. So
I have an owl.
You all wake up and the boy's gone and there's footprints in the snow leading up the mountain.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do the same thing with Pietro flying around outside to only wake me up if there's some sort of emergency. Otherwise, just to kind of hover around the town best you can. Cool.
All right. Then we'll go ahead and apply your long rests, guys. We'll pick up here. Let's see, the 20. So the 21st is supposed. Well, it's supposed to be. Yeah, I'm supposed to, but I'm still waiting for a bunch of equipment to arrive.